disgusting when you're trying to argue against me. Your own states are
Wait, what is
disgusting in
emancipation?
their own
What is
fucking age
emancipation?
of consent. By the way, I'll prove to you that 2 8-year-olds can consent to having sex with one another. If one of them actually
No. We can't do that. Your server muted. We can't do that. We're not doing that here. We're not justifying 8-year-olds giving consent. We're just not doing that. I'm so sorry. We're not gonna do that. What's up, Manar reports? I don't think I've seen you before. How's it going? We're trying to catch up on some of the legal stuff with Donald Trump. It seems like this video is not what I was aiming for. You have a Discord so we can debate? Yes. But I think you are you're acting a little sus. A little sussy-wussy. What do you want to debate? What are you doing? Why are you sad? You okay? What do you want to debate about? Can we debate? What do you want to debate about? I need a topic, brother. Because you're acting sussy-wussy, and it's scaring me. The Trump factor. Okay. I think there should be a Discord join thing. There's a Discord join thing in the description of the live stream. You just have to verify yourself in the server. You should be able to join. You just have to join waiting room.
All right, great. Yeah, so I guess my contention would be I just don't have a good reason why anybody, I've never heard one actually, why anybody would vote for Harris.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope maybe you can give me one. Because I don't regret at all voting for Trump. I'm really happy with his populist administration. I'm really happy with his economic agenda. I'm really happy with his foreign affairs agenda. I'm really happy with the ceasefire. The only thing I was not really happy about, and I'll give this to you, is Israel. But to be honest with you, I already knew he was extremely bad on Israel before, and the other person was as equal, even or maybe even worse, because they actually allowed the killing to stay, whereas at least he stopped it.
Okay.
And so that's my contention again.
Okay.
I just don't understand why anybody would vote Harris. I just don't get it.
Okay. So the main reason that I voted for Kamala Harris. Say again?
Should I mute myself when you speak, or do you hear an echo?
Check. I would probably mute yourself. I think I can hear a little bit of an echo. Okay, cool. So, the main reason that I voted for Harris is because I'm a patriot. I love this country, and I love the foundations of this country. I think we are a good country, and I think our laws are important to follow. And I think that Donald Trump is an insurrectionist. I think he does not care about the Constitution. And I think that his policy that he was pushing for is wildly misguided. I think that what is happening right now within our federal agencies is illegal and a wild attempt to centralize power within the president. I think that him trying to basically do a genocide of Gaza so he can build more like residential housing and then denying them right of return is really bad. I think him trying to invade Panama over alleged breaches of contract without actually specifying what those breaches of contract was really bad. I think his denial of climate change is really bad. If you want a positive case for Harris, I think the most positive case that I can give is that she just baseline respects our institution, and I don't think there's a reasonable fear of her becoming some sort of centralized autocrat, whereas Donald Trump already has expressed the want to become a centralized autocrat. I think maintaining American democracy is really important, and I think that Donald Trump stands in harsh opposition to that. So that would be my case for voting for Harris, is that it's basically a vote for the status quo, but it's also a vote to maintain our U.S. democracy. Hello, everyone. We had a little bit of an issue. Let's wait for Discord to reconnect, and then we'll try and reconnect with this guy. Not
actually appeal to the Constitution and anything. She was actually trying to change laws.
Real quick, I don't mean to.
Precedents to appeal for the LGBTQ community. And she's not an autocrat. She literally was funded $1.5 billion, and she's not an autocrat. And Trump had to play with $300 million. She's not an autocrat.
I don't want to cut you off. My internet disconnected. I didn't hear almost anything you just said. So I need you to.
I would be happy to do this all over again. I would be happy for you and your viewers.
Okay, perfect.
The Mac list, get ready for this. Okay, here it is, boys. Put me on screen. Put me on the big screen so they can see my eyebrows.
You're on the big screen.
Put my eyebrows on the screen.
You're on the screen.
All right, thank you. All right, guys. He said Trump is an insurrectionist, but cannot prove with any actual legal documentation he was an insurrectionist. He actually was sued and failed. The lawsuits failed. Actually, all of the special counsel lawsuits failed. What a joke that was. Trying to ascend in power. Are you kidding me? The Biden administration, Biden himself used his own unprecedented absolute power of pardoning to pardon his own family members and Hunter Biden from an unprecedentedly never seen before from crime he hasn't even committed yet. For 10 years, absolute pardon. Every president in the history of America had the power to use that pardon. Not a single president did that. And you're going to claim that Trump is the one trying to ascend into power? At least Trump is not the one using his pardoning powers, his absolute pardoning powers, to benefit his own fucking family, you fucking weirdo. Sorry about that. But anyways, he's doing a genocide in Gaza. Are you kidding me? Trump is doing a genocide in Gaza so he can get his real estate. Who started the genocide in Gaza? Who started that? Who's funded that? Kamala Harris and the Biden administration. Was Kamala Harris able to introduce the 6-week ceasefire that she said she was going to do? That lying whore. Why did ceasefire talks fail multiple times and they only succeed underneath Trump's threats? Why? Because the Biden administration started the warfare. They wanted to extend it. And it was actually their war. It's not Trump's genocide. It's theirs. Now, we all agree that Trump is bad on Israel, but you're not going to claim that the genocide in Gaza and the 47,000, let alone maybe 65,000 killed was during the Biden administration's Trump's fault. You're not, are you? Panama Canal. Who the fuck gives a fuck about Panama? I don't give a fuck. And you still care about climate change? Level up. You're a 2019 Democrat, weirdo. Anyways, Harris is good for Constitution. What are you talking about? She literally didn't do anything for the American people. She failed in the only thing that she had, which was the borders are created an unconstitutional breaking of law, which allowed asylum seeker until Proclamation 10773 came into fruition in June 2024 when President Biden signed it because it was an election year and he needed to get his fucking election numbers up until he actually signed that paper. Criminals who broke into America illegally were allowed to seek asylum. Unprecedented change, and Kamala Harris stood over that change unconstitutionally. You're going to talk about an autocrat? Kamala Harris spent $1.5 billion. You're going to talk about autocrat just to lose. You're going to talk about an autocrat. Waltzy was meeting with Lucas Soros, the son of George Soros. You're going to talk about an autocrat. What a joke. Be serious. You're disingenuous. Put my face on the map. Manar,
give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
I responded to every one of your disingenuous points.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I have to change the name of the stream because this is not chill.
I know I am fucking content.
Yeah. Okay. So I would like to, with permission, go point by point. I'd rather not do like big monologues back and forth to each other because I don't think that's very productive.
Those were your points. I went through every single point you brought up.
Yeah, I know. I agree. But I just want to try and go through more point by point rather than going through big monologues.
Go ahead. I have something to do here. Go ahead. I'm here.
Okay, you can hear me? Okay, so Donald Trump. We're going to stick on the insurrection thing. So Donald Trump is an adjudicated insurrectionist. The Colorado Supreme Court found that he engaged in insurrection, which is the highest court that has ruled on the topic of him being an insurrectionist. So the highest court that has ruled on the topic found that he was an insurrectionist. We can go through exactly the way that he tried to overthrow American democracy if you want to with the false electors. I don't know if you know how the American vote counting process works, but yeah, let's just try and stick on that.
I'm a master debater on this topic. You're not ready for this. I know everything about the Jack Smith special counsel. I know everything about the case that you're talking about. If you want, we can dive into it.
Yeah, let's do it. So are you familiar with the false electors being submitted to the joint session?
So you're talking about false electors. Those electors came from the actual state electors. So the actual state electors were the ones that said that they had those electoral votes. It wasn't. What do you mean they were false? These were actual state electors that actually presented their new votes and said that you can, if you actually stop, like there are new votes that we never actually assumed for. These were state electors. It wasn't like, what do you mean false votes? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, so basically the way that our electoral process works is that the RNC and the DNC choose a slate of potential electors that will be certified assuming that their candidate wins. Donald Trump did not win the 2020 election, and he tried to allow his electors to submit their certificate of ascertainment anyway, even though some of the electors were not even potential electors chosen by the RNC, because some of the potential electors chosen by the RNC pulled out after seeing it validly as an attack on the Constitution. So they got some other rando to sign a certificate of ascertainment claiming that they were the duly appointed electors, even though they were not. That's why they're fraudulent.
Okay, have you proven that in the court of law, or is this a conspiracy theory?
There's evidence of them signing the certificates of ascertainment. We have the certificates of ascertainment that these fraudulent electors signed.
Okay, well, what are you talking about? Let me see your evidence. What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Present some evidence. Because it doesn't make sense why you would have all this evidence and then have it not adjudicated. That doesn't make sense.
So I'm just wondering, are you like generally aware of me, or did you just like find my chat? And
I've never heard of you in my life.
Okay, that's fine. So we have access to, I think, 5 of the 7 electoral college slates. I have to take you off the screen to send these to you. I'm so sorry. Oh wait, no, I might not need to. Hold on.
But it doesn't make sense that these were.
Do you have access to research notes?
What's your actual? Yeah, Notion, or
okay.
You can
There's
do Notion.
The one from Wisconsin. Here's the one from Georgia. Here's the one from Nevada.
So these were fraudulent? These were fraudulently signed?
Yes, because they're declaring that Donald Trump won the election, but he didn't.
Yeah, but this is not what I understand. That was the issue actually in the case. The case matter was if there was actual conspiracy to.
This is a part of the conspiracy. Yes.
Okay, but the conspiracy was between the actual counsels. It was actual, like the actual evidence was lawyers speaking to one another.
Part of it, yes. So the basically the charge that Jack Smith was going after is a criminal conspiracy to disrupt an official proceeding, which was the election or the electoral vote certification on January 6th.
And this was because of literally lawyer talk. 2 lawyers talking to each other, and they're trying to actually decipher legal theory, and one actual lawyer abstaining from doing it.
Yes.
That's your only claim of conspiracy. Whatever.
Are
okay,
you
so
familiar?
Moving on from there.
No, not moving on. Are you familiar with the legal theory that John Eastman was presenting?
Yeah, John Eastman was asking what would happen. Would we actually be breaking the law if we did that? And then he was like, why can't we just ask for an extension? How is that breaking the law? We lawyers do that all the time. We ask for extensions and during the courtroom all the time. And you actually are allowed the congressional extension, but there are certain terms that you have to achieve. So basically, they were maybe discussing that. You don't have.
You are incorrect. In the first John Eastman memo, he openly acknowledged that it would diverge from the processes laid out in the Electoral Count Act, which is a federal law dictating how the electoral counts or the electoral votes are counted. So even in the first memo, in which John Eastman proposed that they do the false electors and have Mike Pence unilaterally certify electors or unilaterally decertify electors, he acknowledged that it would go against the Electoral Count Act. So an open admission that it is against the law. This wasn't a lawyer asking, hey, would this possibly be against the law? This is a lawyer saying we should break the law to make Donald Trump the president again. Okay.
You're wrong. You're actually you're overreading into that. You're actually overreading. You're presuming he actually basically pushed him into doing that. You're overreading. He didn't actually push. He acknowledged it's breaking of the law, but still asked, why can't we ask for an extension? I know they do that all the time.
The reason they can't ask for an extension.
Breaking the law, it's actually that if as long as we ask for it through the cordial process, why can't we do it? Especially when we have the
Because
electoral vote in our hands.
the counting of the electoral votes isn't a court process. You
But
can't
even
do
if
the
that
same
means
thing
we
in a court
break
of
the
law
law.
that you can with the electoral counting. If you ask for an extension, you are violating the Electoral Count Act, and John Eastman knew that. He wasn't saying, "Oh, well, maybe
Really,
we
you
could get an
actually ask for
extension."
extension.
What John Eastman was saying is we should break the law in order to make Donald Trump the president again.
No, you can actually ask for extensions in the congressional approval process. But for, I think it was 3 reasons. I forget exactly what they were. Part of them have to do with the Congress itself, and that's the actual issue that with John Eastman. It wasn't that they can't ask for extensions; that they never hit the criteria to ask for extension. By the way, that's all it was.
Right. So it would be violating the Electoral Count Act.
The other lawyer
So
told them
you just
that doesn't make
conceded
sense.
that they were asking to break the law.
No. Let me finish. But that's what, and that's why, but that's what I'm telling you was legal theory. There were two lawyers
No, it's
talking
not
to each
legal
other.
theory.
And then he was admitting another legal theory. He's like, okay, what if we ask for extension, even if it does maybe hurt a little bit? Like if we, why can't we ask for the extension? I forget the exact memo. I forget the actual memos. I need to go
privilege
read
and
them
confidential, the memo Jan 6 scenario. That's generally what it's called. It's
yeah,
not.
yeah, I need to look into that. But
It's not legal
I
theory.
remember
It's
he
not
told him
legal.
it's not.
Just to be
Go
clear,
ahead, go
it's not legal theory to propose to your client that they should break the law in order to make them the president again. That's not legal theory. That's an explicit
That's not what it
violation
is.
of
He did
attorney-client
not say word
privilege.
for word. He did not say word for word, let's break the law. You're reading.
Yes, he was
into
saying
that.
we should diverge from the procedures laid out in the Electoral Count
Yeah,
Act.
it happens all the time. We get congressional. I think it's
Why would
happened
the law-
before. Yeah, we've had an extension.
Why would the law be
We
there?
asked for an extension.
Why would the law be there if it was meant to be broken?
We've had Al Gore ask for an extension before, and we had a full recount. Like this law exists for a
Al
reason.
Gore
As long
did
as
not delay. By the way,
as long as you have the threshold, you can actually ask for extension. That's all it is.
in
But he
2000,
didn't hit the criteria according to the other lawyer. I've debated with this with multiple people,
Okay.
bro. You
Can
can
you-
never
can you-
prove that speech was not only lawyer talk. You can never prove it's actually conspiracy. And to have a conspiracy theory, by the way, something bad had to happen. I mean, if it never actually occurred,
like
it can
the
never be a
invasion of the
conspiracy.
Capitol. So just to be, and also
Invasion of Capitol?
the fake certificates of ascertainment were delivered to the Capitol on January 6th, by the way. But just to be clear, if you violate attorney-client,
This is the first time I've heard about these being fake. I actually believe that these were real the whole time. I don't know how you know
They
this
weren't.
is fake. This is unbelievable to
they
me.
just objectively weren't. They weren't the duly certified electors.
The electoral came to the president, told him we have votes for you. The electoral legislator,
I'm gonna-
legislator,
I'm gonna
and
be
then
kind
now
of a
it's
dick.
all fake. That doesn't make sense.
Do you know?
Especially what was in Pennsylvania, right? It was Pennsylvania,
Do you know?
and
Who
then there were a
certifies?
couple other states.
Do you know who certifies the votes
State
on January 6th?
legislature. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you know who certifies the votes on January 6th?
Yeah, Congress.
Kind of. So it goes through three certifications basically. First, the state executive certifies that they are the duly appointed electors, which is the governor, and then those are transmitted to the joint session on January 6th to be debated on by Congress, and then it is certified by the vice president. The problem is that John Eastman was asking the vice president to unilaterally certify or decertify electors and bypass Congress in this process.
No, that's complete. You're overreading into. I honestly, he will never present the guys. He will never actually present the documentation of the actual emails because they don't say that at all.
I don't know
They
why
don't
you're
say
saying
that
that I would never, like, I literally, the funny thing is, I wrote like a 10,000 word document about January 6th. So the fact that I wouldn't source anything is absurd.
You're reading into the conversation. He never said I have this fake electoral scheme. He said the Pennsylvania. We have what was it? The Pennsylvania state legislature. I need to read into this again. He said one of the state legislature, and he said we have more that already told us they have the votes necessary. So all we need is an extension. Why can't we ask for that extension? You can see that he's talking about there's a reason. Like he would have never asked for the extension if that state legislator never came to him with these electoral votes. This is the first time I hear that this was completely fake. I've never heard that before.
Well, then I
That doesn't
don't know.
make
I don't know
sense
how
to
you
me.
can
How
claim to
can-
be
how can
familiar with the
initially
Jack Smith
cooperate
indictment.
legally? That doesn't make sense to me.
How can you be familiar with the Jack Smith indictment if you don't know the fake electorate slates?
No, that's the first time I've heard about the fake electors
Then you
games.
don't know about the Jack Smith indictment.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
According to me, everything I've already said to you, I guess I don't have
Okay.
the
Let me
complete
read.
knowledge. I guess I forgot a couple of the details. Like I don't
It's okay.
remember. Maybe I don't remember that big scheme at all.
Let me read this
Maybe I
out to you.
skimmed through because it was a small part of the fucking investigation. The big part was the conspiracy between the lawyers. That's where I focused.
The conspiracy
And I
between
had
the
to read
lawyers
into
was
it.
this.
However,
That's what the lawyers were arguing over. Is the fake
exactly.
electors.
Okay, the fake. No.
Yes,
They
yes,
were
yes,
not
yes,
arguing
yes.
over the fake elector. No. See, you're lying. You see, you're reading into it. Show the actual documentation.
What
They were
lawyers?
talking about
Can you
the
answer me?
actual.
Can you tell me what lawyers were arguing?
It was John Eastman, and then who was
Greg
Trump's
Jacob?
lawyer? I forget.
Was it John Eastman and Greg Jacob?
It was John and James. I think it was some. No. It was John. It was John Eastman, and who was the other one? Another J. I forget.
Um,
Was it Joseph?
Mike Pence's legal counsel was Greg Jacob and Mark Short. Those are the two people that were arguing with
Jacobs?
Eastman. Greg Jacob and Mark Short.
Yeah, so the actual emails were between Greg Jacobs and Eastman,
What emails are you referring to?
where they actually conspired with one another.
I think you're kind of lost on this
Are you
subject.
not talking about what I guess which state are you talking about was it like I'm talking about the New York State electoral case. I'm not talking about I don't know if you're talking about Pennsylvania.
I'm talking about the Jack Smith federal indictment.
Okay, the federal indictment that happened in New York, right?
No. It happened in 7 different states. I don't even think New York was one of them.
See, you don't even know what you're talking about then. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm hedging.
This is why you want to Gish Gallop into this insurrectionist bullshit.
I'm not. Wait, who is Gish Galloping?
I mean, no, because I from all the points that you brought in the forwards that I responded to, you want to stop here and talk about this, and then I know why, by the way, because none of this is actually provable. All of this is conspiracy theory.
All of this is provable. I just sent you documents of the fake electors.
You're a conspiracy theorist. The Jack Smith investigation completely failed. It's a failure. It was an embezzlement plan to embezzle taxpayer dollars.
Do you know why? Do you know why the Jack Smith indictment got
let's
thrown out?
talk about the special counsel. You want to talk about actual respect to the law? Let's talk about the special counsel respect to the law. Can the George Fulton County representative, Mrs. Fannie Willis, present to us her communications with the special counsel, or does she literally get a full dismissal on her RICO case because of that?
Do you know why?
You want to talk about respect for law?
Talk about. By the way, that was a pivot. Do you know why the Jack Smith?
Because I don't give a fuck about this insurrectionist. You haven't been able to prove insurrection. You're literally a conspiracy theorist.
Keep in mind, I opened with the fact that the Colorado Supreme Court found him guilty.
Bullshit.
I opened with the fact that the Colorado Supreme Court did find that he engaged in insurrection. That's the thing that I opened with.
Yeah,
so it's not just me; it's the Colorado Supreme Court too. But can I read a quote out to you?
Sure.
Okay. On December 8th, 2020, when Kenneth Chesbrough calls Jim Troppis about the false electors idea, in an email after the call, Troppis recounted his conversation with Chesbrough as follows. I just talked to a gentleman who did that memo, Chesbrough. His idea is basically that all of us, Georgia, Wisconsin, Arizona, Pennsylvania, have our electors send in votes, even though those votes aren't legal under federal law because they were not signed by the governor. So that members of Congress can fight about whether they should be counted on January 6th.
You think I care about the fucking Colorado Supreme Court when its actual ruling of trying to force the ballot was overruled? Doesn't that prove that they're already biased against Trump? Do I give a fuck about their Colorado Supreme Court rulings? Supreme Court rulings were actually overruled by the federal Supreme Court.
You didn't let me finish, by the way.
For example, they tried to block President Biden from actually being on the ballot in the
Can I finish my quote? Can I finish the
This was
quote?
accepted. Hey, can you remind your viewers
Can I
that this
finish the
was
quote?
the Supreme Court approved this ballot to remove him from the ballot, and they
Yeah,
had
we
to be
could we
struck
could
down?
we could talk about that in a second, but I need to finish the quote.
Just so you guys have no respect for the
Can I
Supreme
finish the
Court that
quote?
he's appealing
Can I
to.
finish
I
the
just want to
quote?
remind
Can I
everyone to
finish
have
the
no
quote?
respect over the Supreme Court
Can I
he's
finish the
appealing
quote?
to. I just want to remind you guys that they were completely biased
Can I
against Trump.
finish
They
the
actually
quote?
kicked him out of the
Can I
ballot
finish the quote?
unconstitutionally. You can finish
Can
it.
I finish? Okay. Kind of wild, creative idea. I'm happy to discuss. My comment to him was that I guess there's no harm in it, legally at least. We would just be sending in, quote, fake electorate votes so that Pence, or to Pence, so that, quote, someone in Congress can make the objection when they start counting votes and start arguing that the, quote, fake votes should be counted. So even Donald Trump, a Trump campaign adjacent lawyers, were calling them fake electorate, fake electoral votes. Now, don't jump in yet. As to the Supreme Court decision, the reason that the Supreme Court struck down the Colorado Supreme Court finding was because they found that the state does not have the right to take somebody off of their ballot, because they found that the 14th Amendment can only be enforced by legislation from Congress. Now, that does not mean that he did not engage in insurrection. The Supreme Court did not comment on whether or not he engaged in insurrection. They just said that Colorado did not have the jurisdiction to take him off of the ballot. So, the highest court that ruled on whether or not he is or is not an insurrectionist found that he did engage in insurrection.
No, the Supreme Court no. What are you talking about? What Supreme Court? The Colorado Supreme Court? Nobody cares about the Colorado Supreme Court when it comes to Trump. You guys,
Did you listen to what I just said?
You're going to claim that the Supreme Court did not unanimously restore Donald Trump's presidency to the primary ballots in 2024? Is that what your argument is?
They did. Did you hear why I said they did that?
And why did they do that unanimously again? Because the Colorado Supreme Court was wrong?
No, because they found that the Colorado Supreme Court didn't have the jurisdiction to take Trump off the ballot, but they didn't comment on whether or not he engaged in insurrection. So the highest court that ruled on whether or not he did or did not engage in insurrection found that he did.
Yeah, because they didn't need to. You don't need to, because there's no insurrection. There's they didn't actually respond to the insurrection because there's no insurrection. There's no evidence of insurrection.
Why didn't they say that in the ruling?
Because I don't.
Interesting.
Why? Because the ruling was about the ballot. It was the unconstitutional removal of a human being from the ballot based on a state's disapproval of their conduct. That's the actual.
Okay, but they didn't rule on whether or not he engaged in insurrection, right?
They're not going to rule on that, but unanimously they ruled that your court failed in administering a non-biased ruling when it came to Trump. So what? Tell me again why I should respect this Colorado Supreme Court's ruling when it came to Trump. When the Supreme Court in America refused unanimously to approve their ruling and called it unconstitutional.
Because you're disregarding why they found it unconstitutional. The reason that they found it unconstitutional had nothing to do with whether or not Donald Trump was an insurrectionist.
The Supreme Court, guys, look how he's obfuscating? Can you remind me again why the Colorado Supreme Court accepted the removal of the ballot if it turned out that it's unconstitutional per the 14th Amendment? Then that means they're not respectful. They don't know the law, right? They're unconstitutional. They're willing to break the law knowingly, and until told against to by the Supreme Court, they wouldn't actually suppress. Like they were willing to suppress Trump's rights. Do you agree with me? Knowingly, yes, knowingly, and then you also appeal to them. And then you appeal to them again. It's like appealing to the New York courts.
Do you know what the 14th Amendment says?
The New York courts, when we know that they're already biased towards Trump.
Do you know what the 14th Amendment says?
Hey, brother. All right, why are you shaking, by the way? Can you calm down? Why are you just galloping?
Why am I shaking? You can't even see me.
Tell me, how does it feel to know your Colorado Supreme Court's ruling was ruled unconstitutional per the 14th Amendment?
No, not per the 14th.
How does that feel? Tell me.
Do you know why it was found unconstitutional?
Why do I have to respect the Colorado Supreme Court again? Remind me.
Can you tell me why it was found unconstitutional? I already told you, so it should be pretty easy.
Well, per 14th Amendment, whatever you're talking about, but that means that the Supreme Court of Colorado knew that it was unconstitutional per 14th Amendment. Or do you think that the legal theory just showed up out of nowhere, thin air, like your God and your Big Bang Theory in your whole world?
Are you okay?
Can you answer my question? Why are you shaking?
Why am I shaking? You can't see me.
You're shaking. I'm destroying you right now. You want me to respect the court? Like it's like saying, "Oh, I should respect the New York rulings about the Betsy DeVos bullshit." No, no, not Betsy. The
Betsy
fucking porn star,
DeVos.
knowing that they used the testimony of a proven liar, Michael Cohen. They used the testimony of a fucking liar to prove Trump actually created. Turns out he's actually in federal jail for stealing and lying about Trump. They used him in testimony a year later. Are you fucking kidding me?
And then a jury of his peers found
You
him
want me
guilty,
to
right?
respect the New York federal court? Fuck off. I'm not going to respect no court from New York. I'm not going to respect the Colorado Supreme Court. So stop appealing to them. The Supreme Court themselves don't actually agree with them. So I don't care about what you're talking about.
How do you feel about Donald Trump pardoning Enrique Tarrio?
I don't know anything, guys, but you guys are literally conspiracy theorists. Nonfon wants to say, I don't know anything. Guys. You guys are literally conspiracy theorists. No other, not even the federal Supreme Court approves your actual rulings, but you guys want to push them further. You guys are actually unconstitutional. You are basically Reynolds. If you want me to accept the Supreme Court ruling of Colorado, you're basically trying to tell me to become be unconstitutional. Do you agree or not?
No, because what I'm citing the Colorado Supreme Court's ruling on him being an insurrectionist, not on him being taken off of the ballot.
Yeah, but it sounds like Colorado Supreme Court to rule that he should be taken off the ballot because of that insurrection claim turns out to be a complete farce. So how do you actually still want me to have any respect for this Colorado Supreme Court?
I disagree with the U.S. Supreme Court ruling on Colorado not being able to take him off of the ballot. I can tell you why.
The federal Supreme Court, the law. You see how I exposed your boy, guys? So basically, Colorado Supreme Court is better and smarter, and so basically, he wants you to break the Constitution, guys.
No.
He's hoping to God that the federal Supreme Court did not find it unconstitutional to break the 14th Amendment in order to remove somebody from the ballot.
What is breaking the 14th Amendment is an insurrectionist holding office.
You're so disgusting because you haven't proven his insurrectionist claims. Where was he financing guns? Where was he financing guns for his insurrection buddies? Go ahead, show me.
Can you define insurrection for me?
Where was he planning to create an insurrection to take over the government after those John Eastman emails? That's all you have?
Can you define an insurrection for me?
No, be honest. No, Reynolds, because I'm laughing here. You're a 2019 Democrat. You literally mentioned climate change. So all I want to ask you is, can you tell me what other proof besides the John Eastman emails do you have that there was some kind of conspiracy to take over the government? Do you have any other proof documented?
Yeah, other than the documented proof. Do you have any other documented proof?
Other than the 2 emails talking about legal theory, if we can get an extension on the ECL or whatever the fuck you want to call that law.
You don't even know the piece. You don't even know. You don't know anything. It's okay. I don't know why you decided to come on and debate me about January 6th.
Man, I debate everything. I don't debate only this shitty topic. This is what you do for a living because you're a conspiracy theorist, lying piece of shit that likes the.
You come on and debate. You come on and debate a bunch of shit that you don't know anything about instead of one thing that you know anything about.
Just let me finish. You like the Colorado Supreme Court ruling, even though it was ruled unconstitutional per breaking the 14th Amendment of removing. So you're a piece of shit. You shouldn't be respected. You understand?
At least I've read into what I talk about. Like I've read about everything that I talk about. So I'm not going to come on and debate about 30 topics I don't know anything about.
Okay, by the way, that's not what I came to debate you on.
You came to debate me on Donald Trump, and for some reason you're looking past the insurrection.
No, I asked you why would you even vote for Harris. It doesn't make sense if Trump's economy was better. But obviously, you can't defend.
Do you know what my answer was? Do you know what my answer was?
No, let me finish, please. So you can't defend the Harris economy and the Biden economy. So you dish-galloped into this insurrection bullshit. And by the way, you didn't only give me one. If you remember at the beginning, I had to fucking respond to 12 different points. And this is the point you chose, by the way.
Yes, and I said, let's take it point by point, and you clearly didn't know anything about this.
Conspiracy. Let me finish my point, man. You're an unconstitutional conspiracy theorist. You're a fucking conspiracy theorist. You believe the Colorado Supreme Court should have been just by removing Trump from the ballot. Unconstitutional for the 14th Amendment, by the way. What?
I was referring to the Colorado Supreme Court ruling on him being an insurrectionist.
I know. With no
Right.
evidence, you're lying.
No,
You
the
are
evidence is
lying.
in
And you're
the
lying
evidence is
conspiracy
in the
theorist.
lawsuit. You realize that
You are
whenever
a
a Supreme
lying
Court finds
conspiracy
something, they
theorist.
often like release a document full of all of the substantiation within it.
No,
We
you're a
can.
lying conspiracy theorist, and the Colorado Supreme Court has already been proven to be a
Do you want
fraud by
to
the Supreme Court.
do you want to go over what the Colorado Supreme Court said?
Guys, remember the Supreme Court unanimously disregarded the ruling of the ballot on Trump. This unanimously. So Colorado Supreme Court knew they were breaking the Constitution, knew that if it went to the Supreme Court, it's not going to be accepted. Unanimously, the federal Supreme Court broke the Colorado Supreme Court's ruling to remove Trump from the ballot. Of course, they're not going to mention the insurrection because that wasn't the unconstitutional breaking. It was the Colorado Supreme Court taking Trump's right. That was the unconstitutional part. And the Colorado Supreme Court worked
Can we agree?
in behest with their prosecutors to take away Trump's rights.
Can we agree that
and he agrees with that, guys. He agrees with that. Knowing the Supreme, and he actually already exposed himself, saying that he wishes the Supreme Court never ruled against that.
Yes, because I think the ruling was stupid.
I know. I think you're stupid too.
I know, and I think you're stupid too. So we can all think.
Well, I
all,
think you're a
all
conspiracy.
of each other
I
are
don't think you're
stupid.
stupid. I think you're pretty smart. I'm not gonna lie. I think you're pretty smart, but I think you're a conspiracy theorist because you don't have the evidence besides the John Eastman emails to prove actual conspiracy theories.
The problem is that
God
you can't engage on any topic.
Thank God you made up this fake electoral scheme because you have literally nothing else. You have no way to show AMLO being funded. You have no bank accounts funding any disinformation campaigns. You have no actual, for example, bot farms from Trump. You literally have nothing. You have no planning of actual weaponry against the government plans or anything like that. You're a fucking conspiracy theorist, just like Nonfon is.
How do you feel about the pardon for Enrique Tarrio?
He literally did nothing. Apparently, he wasn't even at the actual insurrection,
at the Capitol?
correct?
Yeah, do you know what he did?
What did he do?
He coordinated Proud Boys occupying all of the Washington buildings in order to stop the certification process. In a memo called 1776 Returns, he was encouraging all of the Proud Boys to occupy the Capitol so they couldn't certify the election.
Well, to be honest with you, I
Donald Trump pardoned him.
I can't believe your evidence. I don't even believe you have that evidence.
He was found guilty. Tarrio was found guilty. Tarrio was found guilty.
No,
and then Donald Trump pardoned him.
And
then Donald Trump pardoned him.
Other January 6ers that weren't even in the Capitol.
And then Donald Trump pardoned him. You realize that right now what you're defending is somebody
by the Supreme Court.
Somebody was coordinating a widespread invasion of the Capitol, got convicted of it, and then Donald Trump pardoned him.
Yeah,
how do you feel about that?
That's what. Hey, what's your thoughts about 5,000 FBI agents from 13,000 being working on January 6th protesters? So almost 40% of the whole labor force working on January 6th protesters and trying to jail them.
Cases? Yeah, if you do an insurrection, you should probably be prosecuted for it.
So you see, I keep exposing you for being unconstitutionally non-respectful for the Constitution. The same liberal that appeals to the Constitution. You don't respect the Constitution.
Disrespect for the Constitution, like Donald Trump saying we should terminate it.
You're actually inhumane because you actually are advocating for basically the removal of persons for protesting, for assuming the right that you gave them using the Constitution.
Engaging in insurrection, not for protesting.
What insurrection did they engage in? They were
trying to disrupt the election certification.
No, they weren't. This was a protest that went out of hand. There was multiple rioters, but this was mass. Most of the people that were in that
January to disrupt the certification of the election.
Gathering were protesters. In America, you have a right to protest.
You're right. But they weren't protesting. They were trying to disrupt the certification of the election with violence.
You know that over 50% of the no, what do you mean 50%? Only like 200, 300 people walked into the Capitol. Like there was a huge gathering, over 10,000 people outside. Not everyone walked in.
They were in restricted grounds.
But in Washington, there's protests all the time.
Yes, they weren't restricted grounds. If you break down a barricade and you go into restricted ground, you're going to be prosecuted for going into restricted ground. Obviously,
conspiracy theory that you're pushing. By the way, I'm going to call you conspiracy theorist from now on. You are not respectable.
Just keep in mind, I'm the only person that cited anything.
Yeah, conspiracy theories. Absolute conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your
Other
conspiracy
than
theory
the
of there's
Eastman
an
memo, what do you
insurrection,
have?
your conspiracy theory of there's an insurrection is
Can
actually
you define an insurrection for me?
look, when you extrapolate it, now you're assuming though that they're actually insurrecting the capital with no weaponry, without a single gun,
Can you define insurrection for me?
without a single police officer murdered or assassinated, without anyone actually being detrimental, without
Can you
actually changing any laws, but they
can
insurrected the
you
capital, guys.
can you define insurrection for me?
You can define an insurrection, actually. That's hilarious. That was Andrew Wilson. I don't even know. I'm not the one claiming the insurrection. I'm not going to define the insurrection for
I
you.
can define it for you.
Okay, I'm going to give you my definition of the insurrection. Guns blazing, running into the Capitol, murdering every human being in there.
That's
Complete violent coup.
Okay, well,
Okay, complete violent coup taking over the legislature, the executive, the judicial, immediately using the army forces of the owner of the land, immediate execution of all of oppressors and opposition forces. That's what I'm thinking of an insurrection. What else is an insurrection?
well, if
Because that's the only insurrection we had in history of America was that kind of insurrection.
I'll tell you what, if that's what you define as an insurrection, then Donald Trump did not
Insurrection that
engage in
happened in the
insurrection.
history of America. What other insurrection happened in the history of America that wasn't like this?
The definition of insurrection that I use, that most people use, is use of public force by a group of people to hinder the execution of the Constitution, or to uprise against the government. They obviously both did that. You can look at the Google definition. A violent uprising.
You forgot that Destiny got rolled using the argument. Remember, against Andrew Wilson? You can't use that argument.
I don't give a fuck about Destiny.
Yeah, but the argument got rolled. Like, basically, I could assume that basically women fighting for abortion is basically insurrection because they're trying to use force to change laws.
Yes, if there were a group of women who were trying to, rise up against the government to prevent the execution of the Constitution, then yes, that would be an insurrection.
No, not the Constitution, the law. So if I want to change the law,
I said the Constitution.
If a group of women want to change the abortion laws, all they're basically using force, then they are basically committing insurrection. That's why it's a failure.
You're arguing against the definition I didn't give.
Yeah, well, that's the definition you gave. You said force to change laws, right?
No, I said use of force by a group of people to hinder or prevent execution of the Constitution.
Yeah. So if a group of women gather together on the day of an abortion law being passed and try to hinder it from going through using mass protests, basically they're committing insurrection.
Using violence? Then yes, that would be an insurrection.
Well,
I'm glad we agree. I'm glad we agree.
Violence is subjective.
Violence is subjective.
Because my understanding of violence is guns blazing. Your understanding of violence, I guess, is what, a fist in the air? Like,
is breaking through the window and crushing multiple Capitol Police officers, tasing them in the neck. Yeah, that's my definition of violence.
Let me ask you a question. Let's say I thought cars burning is violence, but anyways, I guess a breaking the window is violence. Let's say one guy broke the window. Does that mean the whole protest now is an insurrection? Let me ask you that now. Okay, so there's a percentage of people that have to do it for the whole protest to be insurrection. What's the percentage?
It would be the use of force by a group of people.
Okay, but what percentage of people? Because all I know is that, for example, there's not a single police officer that was hurt in that, or maybe it was one only. Like, so that
you are 1,000% wrong.
That's 0.01%.
I can't believe you just said that there were no Capitol Police officers hurt on January 6th. I think you're actually insane.
Yeah, how many people were hurt on, and like I know nobody died.
That number
so I want to know how many people were hurt.
Google it. Let's Google it.
No, not a single cop died. So I want to know how many people were hurt.
Capitol Police.
My understanding was one person that went to hospital directly because of Capitol.
There were 138 officers, 73 Capitol Police, and 65 Metropolitan Police injured. 15 of which were hospitalized. Some with
15.
severe injuries.
15 were hospitalized. Okay, so 15 out of the.
That's interesting
people.
that you picked out the 15 number. I said 138 officers were injured, only 15 of which were hospitalized.
Okay, I mean, you're not. What is this injury? Maybe he was yelling too loud. I don't know what he means by injury. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
believe
move the
everybody. I'm
goalpost.
only
That's
gonna
fine.
believe the
Yeah.
people that went to the hospital that they were really injured.
Yeah,
I
just
mean,
move
I
that
got in a
goalpost.
crash. I could have said that I wasn't. I could say I'm injured, but I didn't. Like, you have to understand. No, no, no. So what I'm trying to tell you is, like, we need to see. I'm not gonna. Like, I think the people that went to hospital are a good representation of the people that were really injured. Like, you could just claim it, but that doesn't mean you're injured.
You're moving the goalpost. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You asked me how many
Well,
were injured.
I'm
That's the
looking at
number that was
15.
reported.
I'm looking at 15 people that actually went to. It's like I'm just looking at 15 people that went into the actual hospital,
Hmm. Yeah,
and you
if
said a
you
couple of them were
if you
serious.
don't go
Not
to
a
the
single one of them died.
if you don't go to the
I'll accept
hospital,
it.
then you're
A
not
hundred
injured.
people were injured. Sure, 100 people were injured. I don't know how severe these injuries are, but that's it. So that's your
Just to be
expenditure
clear,
of
you said maybe
of
one.
insurrection.
No, my what I'm
So
getting at
yeah,
with that is that you
well,
clearly
I
don't
was
know
I was
anything
wrong.
about
Actually, it
this.
was basically 10. According to me, it
I
was
just
10 people. It was
I
15
just don't
people.
know. I just don't know why you came in
I
here
was
acting
wrong.
like you knew anything about this topic.
No, this is all you. I don't know what reports are you reading, man. Like me and you were reading
I just
totally
googled it.
different reports. Like I have reports, for example, that tell me there's multiple federal officers in there. According to
Yeah, do you want to
you,
talk about it? I know
I'm
exactly
sure
what report you're talking about.
I have multiple reports here. I don't know what reports you were reading, but my reports are not saying that multiple officers were injured. It doesn't
The
actually
it's
claim any officers
are you
were injured.
talking about the Inspector General report on FBI involvement on January 6th?
Yeah, the brand new report that just came out.
Yeah. Do you know what that said?
Yeah, it said a lot of things. It said that what is it? They said try to whitewash it. 26 federal employees were in there,
No.
but it was much more.
You're already wrong. It's okay though. It's 26 confidential human sources. So
So
just
26
FBI
federal
informants,
employees.
not like officers undercover. 26
Yeah,
informants.
federal resources, right?
Informants.
Yeah, but they could also be spies. They could
No.
be actual spooks.
Like not in the traditional sense.
They
Like
could be
okay,
federal
so
agents. Yeah,
a
it's
confidential human
worded as
source.
federal resources.
A confidential human source is just somebody who gives information to the FBI.
No, no, it wasn't
Yes,
26
yes.
confidential.
It
No,
was.
no,
I
six
promise you,
federal.
26 FBI confidential human sources in DC. 4 entered the Capitol, 9 entered restricted zones, 9 didn't engage in illegal activity.
By the way, that's also a false report. By the way, it's funny that you're reading that report.
Can you? Why is it false? Why is it a false report? Oh, okay.
That's a false report because
Why?
according to other reports, it's showing 200 and more.
Can you link me those reports?
Okay.
Bro is not cooking.
Look at the joke, guys. He already conceded to me 5,000 of federal employees were working on the January 6 cases, but
Trying to
this is hard to
prosecute people?
believe.
Yeah,
There's
that makes
it's hard
sense.
to believe that there's maybe 200 federal agents in the Capitol at that time. What a fucking bullshitter.
Oh, just
What a
because I
fucking
said one
bullshitter.
thing that was right, he
You're a
won't
fucking
believe me on
bullshitter. Shut the
on the
fuck up.
shit I
Let me
lie
finish.
about.
You're a
Okay.
bullshitter, man. You're
Okay,
a
done.
bullshitter.
This dude won't
You're a
believe my
bullshitter.
lies. What
You're
the
a
hell?
fucking gaslighter. You're a gaslighter, bro. You obfuscate the wording just a little bit,
I
just
am.
to you can get away with it. You're a gaslighter. I'm gonna get you the report though. Give me a second.
I'd love to read it. That's all we do. We do boring actual politics. We don't just scream at people about like the 30 topics that we read a
Says the
Wikipedia
news.
article on.
Says the guy that's gonna tell me inflation happened because of COVID-19 bottleneck supply chain issues. You fucking bullshitter. Go fuck yourself.
I don't give a fuck. Dog.
Go fuck yourself. Be honest. Why did inflation happen? Huh? That exasperated inflation. You're gonna say because of COVID-19 supply chain issues? Huh? Shut
No,
the
I'd
fuck
say
up. Don't act like you're a
my
respectful debater. Don't
now
act like
to be
that.
clear,
You're not a
I
respectful
don't know a
debater.
whole ton about econ, but my guess would probably be the stimulus spending.
You don't know anything that you're talking about. It's not the sanctions on Russia. It's not the foreign policy of not accepting any peace agreements with Ukraine and Russia. It's not the actual exasperation of foreign policy warfare. and sanctioning all of the commodity markets in Russia. No, it's the fucking random bottle chain neck issues and your fucking stupid spending issue. What a loser you're. And this is the serious debater, guys.
This
I'm
dumbass
you're a
actually
poster.
thinks this dumbass actually thinks that adding more money to your economy is going to inflate the inflate the prices. Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
that's what I said, right? Sanctioning Russian commodity
all right,
markets,
bro.
adding more money
Okay.
to your economy, right, guys? Look how fucking this is mental illness. This guy.
Yeah, I'm really mentally ill. Dude, like I don't know, like why do you even do this? Like is this fun for you or
Bro, you're a fucking loser. You only
because I
have
like
one
actually
topic.
want to learn.
I
I'm
debate
actually like
every
interested
topic
in
under the
learning, and you're
sun.
just interested in
I
like
debate
coming in
every
and
topic under the sun.
lying
You
to
only
me.
debate one topic, and you're a failure
You
at it.
don't know anything about any topic.
You're a failure at
It
it.
doesn't. It
You're the
doesn't
one that
take
doesn't even know.
anybody.
You just conceded you don't know anything about the econ, and you don't know anything about the inflation. So what the
I didn't
fuck are you
come here to
talking about? You
talk.
actually gave the
It's my
worst.
stream. You came onto
Gave
my
the
stream, homie.
worst. You gave the worst gaslighting answer.
You
You're a
came onto my
liar.
stream,
You're
dog.
a liar, bro. Wait a minute. Don't kick me out until I give you this
I'm
report.
not
Be
kicking you
honest.
out. It's okay.
This is
It's okay, buddy.
crazy. This is crazy. This is great. It's a watchdog report, by the way.
Just to
This
be
is
clear, so
crazy.
you're
You're a
fine with
gaslighter. Hey, tell the people again why did the inflation happen while I'm looking for this?
just to be clear, you are fine with like pardoning violent insurrectionists. That's like something that you're cool with. That we're like sending out memos to like violently occupy the Capitol to disrupt the certification. You're fine with the president pardoning those people. That's chill. Okay, cool.
Wait, what?
You're fine with like
What?
the president that you support like pardoning violent insurrectionists. That were like
No,
telling
I'm
people
fine
to
with my
occupy the
president pardoning his
Capitol.
son for giving him an unprecedented pardon I've never seen before in my life. No other president has ever given and abused that power before. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no other president has abused the
Weirdo,
pardon power.
weirdo.
Like
Yeah,
Roger
okay,
Stone.
so you actually are cool with Biden pardoning his son unprecedentedly for
No,
10-year
I'm not cool with that.
general pardon.
I'm not cool with that. I didn't like that
Yeah,
pardon.
but it's constitutional though, but it's constitutional.
It is
Whatever.
constitutional.
I know it's constitutional, but no other president created that precedent.
Oh no! What are you
If
saying?
it's
No other president
constitutional, why
pardon
don't you see
people?
every president do that? Because they realize it's an abuse of power.
Are you saying that
Whereas
no
your
other
president doesn't
president
have
pardon
power.
people? What are you saying? Are you saying that no other president pardoned people?
No, but not this unprecedented general pardons. We've
What
never
does that
seen that
mean?
before. That means that the pardoning of your son, Hunter Biden, from 2014 all the way to 2024 is unprecedented. We've never seen a general pardon that extends 10 years in our lifetime by any president. That's what that means. That means this president is abusing his power, his constitutional authority.
How is he abusing your constitutional
And
authority if you
and
agree that it falls
care.
within his constitutional authority?
Do you know? Have you done any research on Clay Higgins?
No.
Okay, he's a congressman. He's the one that actually basically has all the details on this. I'm sending you all the links on YouTube so you can actually your viewers can actually look at
You're
this as
sending
well.
them to the chat? Okay. Well, they might get auto-modded. If they do, know that that's not me. I hope they do. If they do get auto-modded, just DM them to me on Discord and I can put them in the chat myself.
This is Clay Higgins was interviewing with Tucker Carlson, brought him confidential. Well, not confidential, but he brought him a report. Tucker Carlson shows the report, and they start discussing the report. And
Who was the
Clay
report
Higgins.
done by?
Clay Higgins. Wait, let me look into that.
Was there any like legal authority by which Clay Higgins made this report? Or was
Yeah,
he
I
just
think
like
he
writing stuff?
was a congressional committee hearing.
Why would one senator write the findings of a committee hearing?
Give me a second. Let me see if I can find this.
Yeah, take your time. What what the fuck is happening?
Questioning using his information. for a committee hearing.
What is
I
happening?
think he was questioning. I think it was the federal the director of FBI. I forget. Here, I can look into this.
Yeah, just send me the link and I'll look into it myself, dog.
Oh, you want it on Discord? Why not?
You can send it wherever you want, dog.
Yeah, here, I sent it to your viewers. The problem is the Discord chat for some reason is like, is it loading for you? I'll send it on general.
Where are you trying to send it?
I'm sending in our Discord debate, but because you're locked, I can't send anything there.
Oh yeah. Okay. Do you want to watch? Do you want to watch this? Like, do you? Okay. I'm gonna deafen while I watch this. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna assume that's okay. How was your day, Poobah? Not too great. That's okay though. Wait, why is it not? What? Wait, why is it muted? Hello?
Play a clip of that for the folks at home. Joining me now, Louisiana Congressman Clay Higgins. Congressman, Merry Christmas. Glad to see you. You recently grilled FBI Director Christopher Wray regarding the FBI's role on January 6th. Let's play a clip of that for the folks at home.
A year later, we the people still do not have a definitive answer from you or anyone else in the Biden administration regarding the FBI presence and participation. Can you confirm that the FBI had that sort of engagement with your own agents embedded into the crowd on January 6th?
If you are asking whether the violence at the Capitol on January 6th was part of some operation orchestrated by FBI sources and or agents, the answer is emphatically
You're saying
not.
no?
No.
In my opinion, it appears the FBI, Congressman, as it targets one political party, targets whole religions, has turned into a quasi-secret police force targeting Americans rather than defending us. How do you see it?
Yeah, very similar from my perspective, sir. The FBI was not only involved in the actions on January 6th from within. They had, I suspect, over 200 agents embedded within the crowd, including agents, or as they would call human assets, inside the Capitol, dressed as Trump supporters, before the doors were opened. Beyond that, the FBI had embedded themselves and infiltrated online chat groups and websites and social media accounts across the country with any group that was discussing.
Wait, so real quick, just to be clear, the only evidence that this guy has is him trying to grill the director of the FBI and then getting shut down immediately under oath. And now he's just speculating on what he thinks happened. What?
And the FBI, you know, effectively infiltrated those groups. And when you track the text threads and the communications within those groups and find the origins of suggestions of potential violence or an active occupation of the Capitol on January 6th, you'll find that those messages were led by members of the groups that ended up to be the FBI agents that had infiltrated the group. So the FBI's involvement was deep, not just on J6, but on the days and weeks and months prior.
And of course, the video that's just recently been released also showing the Capitol Police welcoming in people into the Capitol, not trying to keep them out as we were led to believe initially, undermining this whole insurrection narrative. Congressman, we're also now learning through new court documents, Special Inquisitor Jack Smith demanded a list of Twitter users that liked or retweeted social media posts from President Trump. Congressman, as the Democrats have largely abandoned the Constitution, and with the corruption that we've all witnessed at FBI and DOJ, it doesn't take much imagination to see socialists in the Democrat Party using a list like that for government threats, government intimidation, and government coercion. Can Republicans...
Okay. Oh, oops. Okay, can you tell me what that was supposed to prove?
Supposed to prove that the representatives that are actually watchdogs over these committee hearings over the January 6th protesters are finding new evidences that prove that there are more FBI agents that you colluded or alluded to earlier.
So just to be clear, he did not provide any evidence of that. He said he suspected that there were more, and the only clip of deposition that we got was him getting unequivocally shut down by the FBI director.
You say he doesn't actually present any evidence in the Tucker Carlson interview. He presented multiple videos he
Why
brought to
didn't you
Tucker
cite
Carlson.
that?
He presented multiple videos he brought to Carlson where there was actual, you could see that people were guiding people into certain rooms, and police officers were walking people.
So you're walking, by the way, you're walking all the way back on the FBI thing. You just made that the fuck up. Or you're just listening to a congressperson make it the fuck up, right?
What? How did I make it up now?
You didn't
Wait,
provide
how-
any evidence of that. You didn't provide any evidence at all.
Yeah, because this is still under investigation, but the actual people that are investigating are
Yeah.
telling you we're finding new
So just to be clear,
problems in our investigation.
you
So
just
this is gonna be
conceded to me.
declared.
You
This is
just
gonna be
accu-
all. Hey, let me finish, please. This is all gonna be all out in the clear. Like, I'm surprised you don't know about these reports. Of course, just because the
Oh, I
mainstream
know about
media
the
doesn't
reports. They're just
report on it doesn't mean it's not true, my brother.
Just to be clear,
I know
you just
I know you're
conceded to
an
me.
idiot. I know you're an idiot and you rely on your
I'm the
sources,
idiot,
but
yeah.
that doesn't mean that it's not true.
Just to be clear, you just conceded to me that you do not have any evidence. So,
No, I
good
didn't
job.
concede to you at
Good
all.
try. I appreciate it.
I didn't
Um,
concede to you at all.
You
I
said,
conceded
yeah.
to you that
I
we
said,
need
so
evidence.
I said, to be clear, you have no evidence. And you said,
I-
yeah,
I-
because
I
it's all
said
still
that
being
there's
investigated.
video evidence.
Okay.
I said there is video evidence, and if you want the reports, these reports are going to be much clearer in the very near future. It's just that these
But
these
there's no
actual
evidence
stories
right
take
now, right?
time.
Right? There's no
What do you
evidence
mean
right
there's
now.
no? There's video of people and agents walking people into certain rooms, police officers walking people into certain rooms. There is evidence. What are you talking about? How did I never claim that there is evidence? I said that
You haven't shown
Higgins
any. You
brought
haven't
to
shown any
him
evidence.
video proof. He has video proof. Okay, you have to watch the whole Tucker Carlson interview. That's like a 40-minute interview.
The Tucker
a lot of
Carlson
videos.
interview does not prove FBI insiders
new videos.
at the Capitol.
But there's proof. No, but see how you're a liar? I didn't actually walk back my claim. I actually did say that there was evidence. It was video proof. You just don't like it. That's it.
There's no video proof of FBI agents being undercover at January 6th. There's no
There's
evidence.
video proof of actual people dressed up in like civilian clothing, guiding people to go to pointing out which room is what. And then there's also footage of people that were already in the room, and then they stand up, and then they stand up and act like they were part of the protesters.
Pause. Okay. There's people in civilian clothing pointing out what rooms in the Capitol are what. Does that prove that they're a part of the FBI?
Yeah, because they were next to the police officers, so that means they were part of this.
So that proves that they're part of the FBI?
Yeah, because this was before the breaking in. They were inside the Capitol before breaking into the Capitol.
Are you like mentally challenged? Am I being ableist right now? Like, are you like all there?
So the video footage I'm telling you was of people that were inside the Capitol even before. Like, you can see the same civilian clothing of people next to police officers inside the Capitol before. Like, that's what Clay Higgins showed.
Yes, after they had broken the window and crawled in. I know exactly what video you're talking about. You realize that, right?
He brought footage before the doors were open.
You are. I don't even know.
Are you okay? Why are you screaming? Why are you screaming out? Like, what's
I'm not
happening?
screaming at all. To be,
No, you're not screaming.
You just don't know.
You're squeamish. You're getting
just don't know
squeamish
anything.
though. Like, you're getting a little bit stressed.
I'm not getting squeamish.
Yeah,
I just asked.
you're
I just asked for evidence, and you provided me a Newsmax clip.
You're calling me mentally challenged.
No,
and-
I didn't call you mentally challenged. I was just wondering if you were, so I wasn't being ableist.
No, I'm not an ableist.
No, I was wondering
No,
if you were
you're not
mentally
ableist.
challenged because I didn't want to be ableist.
Okay, there's no actual. Okay, I'm not mentally challenged. So what now?
Okay, I was just making sure.
Okay, so you weren't actually being condescending and being
No,
disgusting.
I would never.
Okay. Okay, so now that you have you've been presented this new evidence, that means you were arguing out of ignorance
You didn't
earlier.
provide me any
Now,
evidence. You
what is your
provided me a
position now?
Newsmax clip.
Are you going to still hold the position that there were no FBI agents, or are you just going to keep holding that position?
Until I'm presented with evidence, then yeah. But to
Okay.
be clear, I never said that
By
there was
the
no.
way, the evidence I presented to you says that the Democratic, there were Democrat, the
You
actual
didn't provide
FBI
evidence.
agents.
You provided a
eluded from the
Newsmax
higher-
clip.
No. I also sent you another link of an article, Daily Signal, which also did use this clip to kind of, but also extended upon it. It
No,
said
you didn't.
factions. Yeah, I sent you.
Oh, yes, you did.
An
Sorry.
article.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
And it said also that in the Daily Signal, it said here, for example, that it says a complex web of FBI assets and the
Dude.
faction within the FBI and within our intelligence services
my
that would
dude,
coordinate.
you
Listen,
realize-
let me finish.
No, stop. You realize that the article you posted to me from the Daily Signal is referencing the Newsmax article that you just sent me. You just sent me a Newsmax clip and then an article referencing the Newsmax clip.
I know, but this is going to become mainstream knowledge very soon. So just because it's not being reported on mainstream media doesn't mean it's not true, my brother. You have to actually dive into this. The video exists. The evidence exists.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think
And
there's somebody that wants to. I think there's
heavily
somebody
on
that
the
wants to
video.
come up and talk to you. Like I don't think I could do anything here. I lost the debate. You owned me with
Ridiculous.
facts.
This is ridiculous.
You
So
own me
by the
with
way,
facts and logic.
Renield is the same person, guys, that trusted this Bureau of Labor Statistics numbers with the 818,000 botched numbers. This is the same number that believes. This is the same member that believes every governmental institution's botched numbers and doesn't actually desire any scrutiny from governmental organizations and institutions. Probably hates the audits of Elon Musk, but then he's gonna come
That's
and
why
tell
Donald
me
Trump
that
fired all of the
because I
inspector
scrutinized
generals.
a little bit that I'm wrong or mentally challenged or whatever. This is ridiculous. You're ridiculous, man.
You're right. I'm sorry. I lost the debate. Can I bring some people up?
You're ridiculous. Sure. Bring up whoever you want, man.
Okay, I need some help because I'm getting going too hard.
Wait, Manar, do you condemn Trump at all for fucking with the BLM numbers? You know, we just got another benchmark revision that revised job numbers down by 859,000, I think.
Oh, so I'm supposed to blame Trump for after being in office for what, a week
Well,
now?
I mean, I don't know. It just seems like if we're complaining that Biden's job numbers were faked or something, like, shouldn't we?
Well, it's the same. It's the same institutions that were still governed underneath Biden and that are being extremely
Right. Hold
retaliatory
on. Wait,
towards the
wait.
Republicans. Let me
I'm
finish, please. They're
super.
being extremely retaliatory and being extremely aggressive, actually, against the Republicans. So it stands to figure maybe they're using the same estimation that gave them the botch numbers, and they're not accepting change in criteria that maybe Trump would administer.
Right. Do you remember last time we had this conversation when I
Show
said
me,
they
show me
last
one
updated the
department. Show me one
methodology?
department that's actually not protesting the changes that Trump is actually forcing.
What?
Show me one department that's not actually basically challenging all the Trump policies that are trying to be.
I don't know every government department, but
What
as
I'm
far
trying to
as I
tell you is
know, the
every
BLS
department
does
is
not.
being contentious towards Trump. So if there's some slow in the
As far as
estimation or they're using the old numbers, I mean, it stands to figure. It's
first of all,
Donald-
the
wait,
job
real quick.
revision was.
Donald Trump was the one that froze all the funding to the federal agencies. If you're saying that they're being botched because he can't get access to the new numbers, that's probably Donald Trump's fault for freezing all of their funding.
No, he didn't do it with every agency. He just did it with the USAID. AID.
That's not true, but okay.
Wait, I like, Manar, first of all, this doesn't make sense because the job revision is smaller than the one that happened under Biden. And second of all, do you remember last time I had this conversation when I told you they have not changed the methodology for revising job numbers since 1979? It's been the same since 1979 because it's a perfectly fine methodology.
Yeah, you're claiming that, but you actually have no. I mean, I need to look into the evidence in that because we've never seen. We haven't seen a botched number for a long time.
Wait, Manar, that's not
Actually,
true. You're going to take back what you just said. That's not true. The revision in 2009 was larger and the revision in 2006 was just as big. So do you admit you didn't know that? You know that. Like, you admit you literally had no clue if what you were saying was true, right?
Holy shit. I already said since
Wait,
Obama. we
Manar,
haven't
I
seen
just want
these
to, I just want to hear you say that when you said we've
Sorry,
never
finish
seen
the sentence.
numbers botched this bad, you didn't even know if that was true or not because you never look
No,
at these
we
job numbers. You
know.
don't track any of
I
this.
knew. Look, I was finishing my sentence. Since Obama, we haven't seen botch numbers this bad, so it
That's
stands
not true.
Since
to
2012?
hopefully
That's not
be.
even that.
It's
That's not.
stands to reason that they were using the similar estimates. Like you have to show me that the botch numbers underneath Trump were similar. You don't see that at all.
Does it sound like a convincing argument to say that, like, oh yeah, numbers haven't been this bad since, or like
Yeah,
we haven't
yeah,
we haven't
because
misestimated this bad since 2012?
Because this guy is trying to tell you we didn't change any of the estimations on any of the procedures. This is a complete lie. They have changed the estimations of their procedures. They change the definition of words all the time, like the recession by the
Bro,
Treasury, the Secretary of Treasury. What's her
we're
name?
not talking
They
about,
changed the
we're talking about
definition
how
of
job numbers.
actual recession, what it means. So these people change their estimations all the time. Now, Nonfon is going to come back and tell me, well, we're not in a recession because there is no recession. Well, they already changed the definition of a recession. So you're going to tell me they never changed recession, or we're not in a recession,
So
but
there
they
is
already changed the
no,
definition of recession. So that's
there
what's happening.
different.
These people are doing the changes, but they're not claiming that directly in front of the public.
So first of all, we're talking about job methodology or the methodology for calculating job numbers. That has not changed since 1979. And second of all, there isn't even necessarily one formal definition of recession. Economists have had different definitions of recessions for a
No,
while. I
there's
think that
no, but that's what happened. There was a consensus on that definition, and then Yellen changed that. The Secretary of Treasury changed that definition. I mean, there was an actual consensus on the two cycles. I don't understand. Now you're actually bringing new information, because the actual
I think
consensus on what stands to be a recession was established for at least 25 years.
I'm not convinced that there was a consensus among all economists
Everyone
of
knows
what a
that it
recession
was
was for
everyone
25
knew
years.
that
There
two pay
was,
period, two
I believe
GDP period, two
The
quarters.
BEA does have a definition of technical recession, which is 2 quarters of negative GDP growth, I think is
Yeah,
what it is.
and there was a
I'm
consensus
not
on that.
aware that that has ever been changed. I think what you might be referring to is that the original GDP numbers show that we had a technical recession in 2022, but then afterwards, those GDP numbers were revised and they showed we did not actually have a technical recession in 2022. I think that might be what you're referring to, but
So no, what happened was after two consecutive negative GDPs, the Treasury of State, stated that we're not in a recession and stated that even though we do have two consecutive GDPs, there's other factors that should be examined, like unemployment rates and stuff like that. So they actually
yeah,
removed it. No,
that's
just let
not
me
a
finish the point. So they removed it
controversial.
from the standard of the two GDP and started adding new indicators and stuff to it. That's what happened, if you
I
remember.
don't believe no, I don't. I believe that the board, like I forget which board it is that determines whether or not we're in a recession, has always considered more things than just GDP growth. The definition of technical recession, I don't think has ever changed, but it's not. It's not at all controversial among economists to say that we're not necessarily in a recession just because we had a technical recession in terms of GDP. That's not a controversial position among economists, and I do not believe the board who comments on if we're in a recession or not.
Okay, it says here Gregotti proposed that a recession is more of a vibe than an objective state of being. In the American public's mind, a recession is a de facto synonym of economic bad times, he wrote. Team Biden's biggest goal between now and November, Gregotti argued, will be trying to convince Americans that they are more prosperous than they feel. So, I mean, look, you're talking about. It's clear as day that they changed this definition to feeling based. Oh, look, the economy is. We're still prosperous as a nation, even though we have unprecedented debts still, but and we have
Bro,
no solution to them, but somehow we're still prosperous. I don't know, but this is all like they've changed the actual definition, and I'm going to actually bring you the actual state government of like government official documentation to say that the two consecutive GDP are not enough. It added in unemployment. There was actually a declaration in the Washington.gov. You know what I mean?
well, I don't think I think it's the Department of Commerce like has some board that typically comments on whether or not we're in a recession. I believe they've always considered things other than just GDP growth, and also even the GDP thing is kind of pointless because we didn't actually have negative GDP growth in one of those quarters. The numbers were revised later.
It was three
with more accurate
quarters in a
data.
row, I think we had negative GDP. In 2020, I think
It was in
2022.
2022. Well, that might have been true when the numbers first came out, but again, the revised data shows that we didn't even have.
Yeah, so what happened was on the Thursday of this week, the U.S. Department of Commerce set to release a second quarter gross domestic produce reading. It was going to show that there was a shrinking of 1.6% the first quarter after the first quarter. So, well, in the first quarter, there's 1.6 the shrinking, and then the second quarter showed very similar. I think it was 1.9, and and then it says here there was
What's happening?
basically
This was
what
supposed to be a
happened
chill
was
stream.
there
I
was
was supposed
also
to
a
read like a Trump
jobless
lawsuit.
claim
Dude.
that was added into it.
What is happening?
So the Fed was trying to start increasing interest rates to try to hike up unemployment rates, to try to actually destroy the economy. They kept saying, no, our economy is not in a recession because we have such amazing unemployment numbers. At the same time, the Fed was trying to destroy the unemployment numbers. Are we forgetting all about all of this? Like, do you
I'm
not remember
familiar
any of
that
this?
the way the Fed works is that unemployment typically will go up when they're trying to fight inflation because of how interest rate hikes work.
How's your day
But
been,
also,
Puma?
is
Not
there
good.
any evidence? So the NBAR is the board that typically like comments on whether we're in a recession. Have they not always used the definition that a recession is a significant decline in economic activity spread across the economy, lasting more than a few months, normally visible in production, employment, real income, and other indicators?
Yeah, she said the labor market. She kept quoting the labor market. I have the thing here. It says here the labor quote unquote the labor market is now extremely strong. That is not an economy that is in recession. So but we are in a period of transition in which growth is slowing. So that's how she tried to explain the negative GDP. So basically, she tried to add that we do have negative GDP for 2 consecutive quarters, but that's not actually an indicator of recession because our unemployment numbers were so low. At the same time, the Federal Reserve was raising interest rates and to try to increase unemployment rates. So the same time they were telling us there's no recession because our labor markets are amazing was the same time the Federal Reserve was destroying our labor markets.
Wait, why were they
Forget about
just
that.
real quick? I don't know how your brain is this broken. First of all, is there okay, so two things. One, is there any evidence that this board has not always used the definition that a recession is a stagnant decline in
Yes,
economic
yes,
activity
yes.
widespread
It says
across the
here.
entire
Good.
economy?
I'm
Can
glad.
you
Yes,
like
it
link
says
me
here.
I
that?
hope you stay
Yes, it
doing
says here
that.
the organization asked the question, what is the recession, and defines it as a significant decline in economic activity that is spread across the economy and lasts more than a few months. While some maintain that two
Uh-huh.
consecutive quarters, yeah, so look at this. While some maintain that 2 consecutive quarters of flailing real GDP constitute a recession, that is neither the official definition nor the way economists evaluate the state, but it is the
Hey,
actual
didn't that
consensus.
just
It is the consensus.
didn't that just
No, no,
agree
this
with
is
my
the media
point?
consensus. No, listen, this is the media consensus, though. This is the actual state governmental official trying to speak. And this is exactly what you actually said. So you're speaking exactly like a state governmental official, which is spooks, and nobody should trust them.
Uh Hold on, wait. I just want to quote something. A press release from 2001 says a recession is a significant decline in activity spread across the economy, lasting more than a few months, visible in industrial production, employment, real income, and wholesale retail trade. A recession begins just after the economy reaches a peak and ends as the economy reaches its trough. So this is a press release from 2001 where they use this definition. So clearly they didn't just like redefine recession to only now include employment, right? Because like they've been using this definition since at least 2001. What do you mean?
Okay, but 2000. Wait, in 2001 they used the definition of actually economy as well.
In 2000, all the way back in 2001, probably before then too, but this is just a press release from 2001. They factored in employment data when considering a recession, just like Janet Yellen was doing.
I mean, that's fine, but I mean,
It's fine. Okay. So we
That's
admit
fine.
Janet Yellen is not like completely changing the definition just because she considers employment
Let me
data,
see the
right?
document that
They've
you're
always,
sending. Send me your actual
I
document.
sent it in general. I sent it in general. It's on page 16. Oh wait, no, this is the document I'm reading from. It's on page 16. It quotes the first link I sent. It's like the second paragraph in the NBER thing I just sent again.
Wait,
IDK.
completely
How do you do that?
unrelated. Manar, do you have a gain setting on your mic?
Yeah.
Is it leveled right now?
No, maybe the Discord mic. I don't have a gain
Oh,
setting.
okay. I was just asking.
Wait, why do you have a condenser mic if you don't have a... What?
I don't have image. I can DM you this picture screenshot.
Wait,
I
hold
took
on.
Manar.
I'll give you image perms. Give me 1 second.
Hell yeah.
I have to be reserved with that because I've already gotten the porn raid, you know?
Sure. Yep.
Nonfon, you actually cucked me to an unprecedented degree. I came here to talk about Gen 6. You came here and you started talking about the
Damn.
economy. I was like, oh my goodness.
Well,
IDK,
just
don't
annoy.
waste
There's
your
another
time.
thing I want to. There's two. Yeah, I mean, Manar doesn't know anything about Gen 6, but like, I mean, I just sent like the link to this. Like, clearly they were considering employment data when talking about recessions before this recent Janet Yellen thing, and also Manar just. It's totally absurd to me to suggest that sanctions on Russia were the primary driver of inflation and not fiscal and monetary stimulus. I actually think most of it was probably monetary stimulus because the Federal Reserve didn't raise rates soon enough. Rather than, and there were supply chain effects. There's mixed evidence on how much supply chain effects contributed to inflation, but like sanctions at Russia probably aren't even in the top 5 things. Like, and also it's just dumb of Manar to say like, I can't believe this person. They were saying the labor market is currently good when the Federal Reserve is trying to make it worse. Like, it can be good while the Federal Reserve is trying to make it worse. Typically, when the Federal Reserve tries to fight inflation by raising interest rates, that's going to make the labor market worse. That's kind of half the goal, is to make the labor market worse. It's not. In fact, arguably, the Fed it's an issue that the labor market is good because the labor market is persistently tight.
Well, do you
and
agree?
it's
Do you agree that also they don't actually regard inflation in in their actual study of recession now? Yellen doesn't, like, for example, she was asked by a congressional committee personnel, why isn't, for example, she was asked here. Let me read it here. Does the National Bureau of Economic Research directly consider inflation when determining if we are in a significant economic decline? She said inflation is not a part of the economic decline, of an economic decline. So she actually doesn't
yeah,
even.
I mean,
Do you agree with that? That inflation is not part of an economic decline? How else do you know you're in a
when
recession?
determining whether we're in a recession, inflation is not a big part of it. In fact, typically
Wow.
deflation is more of a sign of a recession than inflation. We typically see deflation in
Wow.
recessions. We saw deflation in 2008. We saw deflation in the Great Depression. We saw a lot of deflation in the Great Depression.
So having an
I have like
let me just ask you a question. Having exasperated inflation, 2 consecutive negative GDPs, and an okay labor market that the Federal Reserve is trying to destroy, that does not constitute a recession in your eyes?
well, Well, so a couple things. One, your original position was that they redefined what a recession was to consider other things than GDP growth.
Yes.
You got thoroughly fucked on that because like I was able to send you a press release from 2001 where they use a definition that includes
Yeah, but
employment and other
hey,
things.
but that doesn't mean that that's the official
Two,
stance.
so
That's not the official stance of the
right, my
government.
bad. I guess that's not an official stance, even though it's from the people who comment on whether we're in a recession or not. But also, we actually did not have negative GDP growth for 2 quarters because the numbers were later revised upward. And 3, inflation alone is not a useful metric of whether we're in a recession. It can be indicative of other problems in the economy. It's not good to have unexpectedly high inflation or unexpectedly low inflation. But just inflation on its own, it's not particularly useful. And again, typically in recessions, we see deflation. Like something I have, which you don't have, is like, an actual study that shows like deflation is usually correlated with negative economic growth and like reductions in output. You don't have anything to suggest the opposite. So I don't know.
Okay, I'm looking at the Wikipedia definition of recession just to own you. They actually disagree with you. They don't actually mention any of that here. And they mention that there's multiple definitions that are not actually, no, there's no official singular definition. So it's possible
was
that
my
in 2001 you could find some random arbitrary
Wait, Manar,
notion
didn't
of
I
what
come
they
in here
believe is
saying that like
that doesn't
there
mean that
is
that's the official
no
definition. Let me read it though. A recession is a business cycle contraction that occurs when there is a period of broad decline in economic activity, and they generally occur when there's a widespread drop in spending. This may be triggered by various events, financial crises, blah blah blah. So widespread drop in spending. No, then he's
Didn't
wrong.
I
He's
literally come
actually
in
wrong.
here
Wikipedia
arguing at
doesn't even
first that like
define recession the
economists
way he did.
disagree?
Wikipedia
Your
doesn't even
definition
use the same exact
only.
definition.
I know.
So I'm not supposed to believe Wikipedia. I'm supposed to believe the spook, the state person 2001 document that nobody fucking can actually make anybody accountable for, and that nobody can actually
also,
interview the personnel.
did you scroll down to the second paragraph where it says in the United States, a recession is defined as a significant decline in economic activity spread across the market lasting more than a few months, normally visible in real GDP, real income, employment, industrial production, and wholesale retails?
Yeah, and
this
if you
definition
finish,
is from 2008, Manar. Before.
It says here, a recession is defined as negative economic growth. Literally, the second paragraph. If you finish it, you didn't want to finish it because you're scared. It says here, European Union has adopted a similar definition. The United Kingdom and Canada, a recession is defined as negative economic growth for 2 consecutive quarters.
Hey, Manar,
So
your position was that Janet Yellen was redefining what a recession was by including employment data. The Wikipedia article, the second paragraph shows that in 2008 they were using a definition of recession that included
but this is saying
employment data.
significant decline in economic activity spread across the market, lasting more than a few months, normally visible in real GDP, real income, employment, industrial production. Those are indicators. That's not the only thing we're looking at. So you can actually look at 2 consecutive GDPs as an official. Why can't we do that if other Western nations, developed nations, use the same actual? They have similar markets and commodity markets. Why can't we actually, and financial sectors? Why can't we use the similar definition to them? Actually, maybe be more accurate than whatever you try to do.
We're not arguing. I'm not taking a stance on which definition of recession we should use. I'm just taking a stance that Janet Yellen is not arbitrarily changing the definition of recession.
Well, she did.
She
did.
Your position
She actually did because she's overemphasizing that our labor markets, which actually crashed very soon after, and she never actually rewinded her statement.
Our labor markets have crashed. When did that happen?
I mean, are you kidding me right now? If interest rate is Federal Reserve keeps increasing interest rates, and then you don't think we're having? They had to actually reduce it earlier because the economy is hurting so bad. You don't believe our economy is crashing? We're unprecedented deficit. The Federal Reserve has to actually reduce interest rates because the economy is so scary right now and shaky.
That's not. They just first of all, they just. Do you watch the Federal Reserve press conferences, Manar? They literally just held rate steady because the economy is doing too well, buddy. They said
I'm not like you. I'm not a loser like you that believes every state official's document. Do you believe everything Kirby says? Do you believe everything Kirby says? The state official.
Kirby? I don't know who the fucking video game character. I don't know. I believe everything Jerome Powell says.
You just this is the
You believe everything Jerome Powell says. So what do you think about him when he said that we're stealing the future of our nation, our youth, by exasperating the economy like this? And
Wait,
federal rates?
didn't you just cite me a congressperson to prove a point about like how many people were on the ground at January 6th? Why are you now not like selectively not trusting the government when you just cited me a congressperson alone?
That congressperson is actually part of the committee hearing that has.
That's even worse. That's like the definition of trusting the government.
Yeah, so what's wrong with that? I don't
So
have
why are
an
you
I never
selectively
don't
trusting the
trust
government?
general. I never generalize, don't trust the government. I'm just saying that if your reports are not accurate with mine, I'm gonna start scrutinizing these reports. That's all I'm doing. Now Yellen wants to say that the
Ooh,
GDP
what?
or the labor markets were great. Complete bullshit. Complete bullshit. Actually, after that claim, the BLS had to change the botched numbers. By the way, never created another change
Bro.
in her statement after the botched numbers by the BLS came out to fruition. Never actually fixed her statements that there is a great labor market. Nothing. But whatever, man. We're just gonna assume that the
I don't
same
know.
jobs exist.
I don't know what metric you're looking at the labor market to suggest that it has crashed. Unemployment has actually been trending downward recently. Like wages have continued going up at a steady pace. They've been outpacing inflation recently for the past like 18 months, I think, or something. Like I don't know what metric of the labor market we're looking at to say it's crashed.
So by the way, guys,
But again,
it's not out of the ordinary to use another Western nation's definition. And by the way, which was our definition, and it's the consensus of all the economic people I've
that's
actually
not
looked at. This is the
true.
first time I'm hearing
Oh, you've
that
looked
two
at.
consecutive GDPs in a row is actually not an indication of a recession because we have strong labor markets. So we have consecutive reduction in spending, but somehow that doesn't actually suffice as a recession. So what is the definition of
A
recession then?
reduction in
That
spending.
doesn't make sense. What is a recession? Why are we even calling it a recession? We just call it and also inflation rates don't actually matter. So I mean that means why are we calling it a recession then? It has nothing to do with the market.
Didn't you read off a different definition from Wikipedia? Didn't you already
So
read the definition?
Yeah, literally, like
different Western
I
nations
literally
define
came
it
in here
differently.
arguing, Manar, that like what a recession is complicated, and like economists have different views on what a recession is. And it seemed like you were arguing everyone agrees that the definition of technical recession, which is 2 quarters of negative GDP growth, is the only
Your
definition of
proof
recession.
that
And
everyone agrees to your
Janet Yellen
definition is
just changed this.
2001.
I showed you Janet Yellen didn't change it. This has been
She
the
did. She did.
definition of recession. What do you mean she did? I just
She
sent
did. She
you
overemphasized the
something
labor
from two.
markets and de-emphasized the reduction in GDP spending. She did. She actually overemphasized
It
the
seems like
labor
your
market,
original position. I
which,
mean, I
which,
could
by
go
the
back
way,
and
had
stream
botched
and
numbers
see
at the
what you
time.
said. I've already fought you on a botch number. There's no evidence that numbers were botched. It's just how job revisions work. Like you don't understand how job revisions work. That's fine. But it it seemed like your original position
Yeah,
was
sure.
that the
They
definition
found
of technical
800,000
recession.
jobs for Biden to look good out of nowhere, and it's all random, right?
Wait, why wouldn't
Nothing,
you?
nothing
You
came
don't
out
say
of
the same thing for the recent job revision under Trump, though. The like
somehow, somehow God
589,000.
just made it that Biden looked amazing while he was actually a bullshitter.
Why
That's
wouldn't
all.
they, if the job
It's
numbers were
all
being
random.
faked, why wouldn't they wait till after the election?
Because there's so many different sources. You can't lie to us anymore, non-fun. It was easy for you to lie
Then why did
before.
they fake the
That's why
numbers in
you
the
and
first
Destiny
place?
relied on lying, and I proved it today in Reniel's debate. Everything you're fucking
You
stating is
really
a
didn't.
conspiracy theory. No
True.
evidence.
Not true.
So true.
The
I
Supreme
didn't link
Court
you
overruled
anything.
these rulings, and he actually disagrees with the Supreme Court. So I
True.
proved that you guys are conspiracy theorists. You actually rely on us not knowing the data. Now that we all know the data, it's impossible for you to keep these botched numbers
Manar,
hidden in secret for a long time. You can't.
Manar,
We have
if they're
multiple
just
What?
lying
specialists
to
doing
us, Manar, if they're just lying
multiple
to us, then
reviews
why?
on your.
If they're just lying to us and they rescinded the numbers because you can't lie to the people anymore, why did they put out the false numbers in the first place if they were just going to retract it before the election?
What?
If they were just trying to lie to the people to make Biden look good, why did they retract the numbers before the election? And if you're going to say it's because you can't lie to the people, then why did they lie in the first place?
If you can't tell, you're lying to the because you guys you do it all the time. Look at the
Oh,
actual.
okay.
Look what you were doing. You're trying to say because because you have no other argument, because you actually have to contend that Biden is abusing his he's using authoritarian power to, for example, pardon his son. You have to contend with, for example, that Biden created the genocide in Gaza. You have to contend that Biden is the one that exacerbated the inflation using the Ukrainian sanctions on Russia. And so basically, you have to contend with these things. So you don't want to contend with them. So you have to lie to us. It's easy to see that, Reniel. It's not hard.
Wait, Manar, I just want to be clear. Do you think the primary driver of inflation was the sanctions on Russia?
Yes, according to the definitions of Wikipedia, so in terms of duration, declines in real, the definition never actually mentions the labor markets, not one bit.
I don't.
It's talking about the GDP, the decline in spending, the
How this answers
period.
my question?
What? I'm looking at the Wikipedia definition. This is ridiculous because he wants to bring
I
a
asked you about
2001
inflation.
old person's document, but he doesn't like the Wikipedia definition of actual. Here, I'm gonna actually
Wikipedia definition
copy paste it right
doesn't
now.
cause any problems for me. But what I asked was, do you believe that the primary cause or primary cause of inflation was the sanctions on Russia?
Yes, 100%, 100%. The exasperated
have, like,
G7,
any-
the inflation on the G7 countries, with the G7 countries introducing sanctions on Russia. Yes.
Do you have like any evidence for that in the slightest? Because like I have some stuff that shows there was mostly supply shocks. Some other economists argue that it was mostly fiscal and
I don't
monetary
care.
stimulus.
No, I don't use botched reports like you. I'm not a liar like you. That's
okay.
lies. I'm a guy that uses clear, clear evidence. I'm not a liar like you. You know, I don't lie.
You know, it was really funny right at the beginning of the
I'm
conversation.
not a liar like you.
is
I
that
don't rely on
when I
the
was,
same BLS. I don't sit there and rely on BLS after they showed me they botched the numbers by almost 1 million. I don't sit there and rely on our governmental institutions. I start looking for third-party institutions. I look for third-party reports.
These aren't even government institutions. At least most of these. Some of them are. But like
real quick, I think it was
like
So actually, let me give you the actual argument, for example, for the inflation on Russia, because you actually cannot. It's very easy to see that the
well,
sanctions.
I don't deny that the sanctions in Russia probably contributed a
Yeah?
tiny bit to
By
inflation.
how much?
But
A tiny bit? Why would you say tiny?
probably less than a percentage point.
Oh, 1 percentage
because
point. How can you prove that?
trade.
Let's see how
I
he's gonna
mean-
bullshit his way. You see
Wait,
how he's a
wait,
liar,
Manar,
guys?
Manar,
You see
Manar,
how they
Manar.
are
Wait, Manar,
liars?
can you
Manar.
prove that?
I'm done with you
Manar,
guys
Manar,
lying and acting like you
Manar,
have.
Manar.
You use your own. Look. Let me finish, guys. You use your own governmental sources that actually agree with you, because I don't know how the Democratic Party has taken over all of media and all of this space.
Manar, can you?
Manar, I mean, I
Real quick,
can prove.
real
Like,
quick,
I
You
just
have the
sent,
media on your
I
side, but then
chart
when I
in
bring you guys
general.
reports of my
it's my
own
channel. It's my
reports,
channel.
from
Shut
my
the fuck up. Shut
sources,
the
you
fuck up.
laugh
Shut the
at
fuck
me,
up. Shut
but
the fuck
then
up.
your media,
Shut
when it
the
catches
fuck
up.
up. Shut the fuck up.
For example,
it's my channel.
no,
It's
I'm
my
going to
channel,
speak.
dog.
When I said
Dog.
that Jeffrey Epstein using my
my
sources
channel.
was a
I'm going to mute you. I'm going to
all
mute
of you
you.
didn't
I'm
believe
going
it
to mute
until
you.
the actual mainstream media said it. So you guys are actually mentally
Going to mute
retarded.
you, brother. Just to be clear, do you have any evidence that shows that the sanctions on Russia contributed like a meaningful amount to inflation?
Easy. I'll give you my evidence after he gives me the evidence why only 1% after sanctioning the biggest commodity market of the whole universe. Shut the fuck up, you fucking son of a bitch. Shut the fuck up. Let me finish my point. You asked me a question. I'll answer you when you tell me, you and Nonfon, how the sanctioning the biggest commodity market and an energy sector that we've never sanctioned before only created 1% exasperation of inflation. Go ahead, make that argument, you son of a bitch.
So I
Because you
just sent a chart.
You
I
don't
just
have
sent
the
a
way to
chart.
actually prove that. You're projecting upon me that I don't have evidence. You don't have evidence to prove only 1%. Go ahead.
So
Homie,
I
I just asked for a source.
Prove 1%. Prove 1%. Go ahead.
I just sent it. I just sent.
You're a fucking liar. I keep proving that you're liars, by the way. Prove 1%. You just made a point. Don't be a liar. You just made a point. You said 1% only was attributed to inflation of sanctioning Russia. Prove why only 1% because you're a liar. You don't actually have the evidence for it. Watch, guys.
It's a chart in general that
Fucking
I just
liar.
sent that shows, it breaks down what this economist believe or estimates to be the cause of inflation.
Singular
Other
economist,
economists,
guys.
Well, I mean, certainly this is evidence. I don't know. I guess
You see
if
how
I
you
can't
rely
say
on
autonomous,
botched
I don't know what I
data,
would
just
say.
like the BLS report.
Wait. He provided a source. Can you provide a source now?
Well, I'm going to provide a lot of sources to show you that the Russian commodity market getting sanctioned destroyed many European market sectors. I can prove
Why are
to
we
you a
talking about Europe?
lot of data on that.
That's
I'm going
not
to
what
show
I'm
you an
asking for.
exaggeration
What about the effect of
That's not
inflation
what
in
I'm
on the
pricing
U.S.? Do you have data for
immediately.
that?
That's not what I was asking for. I was saying, do you have any evidence that sanctioning Russia like contributed to a large amount of inflation in the U.S.?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Do you like it?
Yes, it's easy. It's easy to show that it's immediate. The moment we sanctioned Russia, even Biden had to tell us. You forgot that Biden told us we have to take it on the chin for Ukraine. That prices are going to go up for a while, but this is for Ukraine. You forgot about that, huh? You forgot that the Biden demanded that we take it on the chin for Ukraine, or you forgot about that? So you guys now are down tracking everything you were actually talking about
I
earlier.
never even made a claim.
No, Biden made Biden forced us to go into actual helping mode for Ukraine at the cost of the American market,
Helping
but
mode.
he was misrepresenting. It wasn't that the actual spending on Ukraine was exasperated the pricing of our markets. It was the actual sanctions on the Russian commodity. I'm gonna show you guys a lot of evidence if you actually allow me.
Right. Are you
You
going
can
to show us
post as
evidence
many
that
links
it
as you want to,
wrecked
homie.
Europe's economy, or are you going to show us evidence that it led to inflation in the U.S.? Because
I'm not understanding what is this data that you're showing here. It doesn't show anything. It's showing that actually it went up to 4%. Where does it
deviation.
show only
Is it
1%?
Ukraine?
Where does it show only 1%?
Well,
Because
do
of
you
the
see?
supply chain,
Well, do you see the blue
because of
here
the
is
sanctions.
the supply factor? So that would include things. That would include things like the negative supply shocks from like sanctioning Russia. You can see that doesn't even reach 1 percentage point above the deviation from 2% inflation.
Wait, how
Where
does
does
it
it
force
show
us
that
to go
supply
into helping
factors?
mode for Ukraine?
Where does it show supply factors actually
The blue, you
meaning
see where the supply
it's actually
factors in
accounted for the
blue?
sanctions? How do you know the supply factors actually accounted for sanctions and not only for the COVID-19 supply chain bottlenecks?
I mean, we can read the methodology to paper, but
I'm
I'm
trying to find
assuming
it. I can't find it anywhere.
typically those are going to be, well, it's the link I just sent.
I
Wait,
know.
but also to be clear, if I can show that, you literally will not care. You literally will just say, I'm citing an economist using government data,
True.
and it's all bullshit, and it doesn't matter.
No. That's no. The whole argument is you guys are asking for the burden of proof, but none of you actually have any burdens of proof. That's the whole argument. So you have to show
No,
me the
wait,
burden. You have.
no.
That's what
You
I want
made
to
the
prove.
claim,
Yeah,
big
I want
dog.
to prove to your viewers that you're liars. That's the whole thing. I don't.
You made the
It
claim,
doesn't
big
matter
dog.
if I
You
agree
have
with
the
you
burden
or
of
not.
proof,
I
first
want
of
to
all.
prove. You have to prove to me that 1% number is actually real, and I have to contend with it. And then I'm actually saying that you guys are liars. So that you have to.
First of all,
that's what.
First of all, big dog, you were the first person to come in and say that the reason that we were facing inflation was because of the sanctions on Russia. So the burden of proof would fall on you because you made the positive claim. Stop. I have a different question. Somebody in chat asked, do you support Russia going into harming mode on Ukraine? Harming. Do you support the Russian invasion of Ukraine?
Harming Ukraine? No. First
Do
of
you
all,
support-
Russia doesn't even want to invade Ukraine. Russia, you know what
They
the
did, though.
Minsk agreement was on? No, but you know what the Minsk agreement was on? They did that because Biden's foreign policy.
Manar, I just need a yes or no question to this. Do you support Russia invading Ukraine?
No. Why would I support Russia? Wait. Where did Russia start invading Ukraine? Where did Russia start invading Ukraine? Where? Here's what happened. Russia, Donetsk and Luhansk were asking for Russian assistance because they were being militarily
okay. They never invaded
by Ukraine after they tried to get away from the parliament after 2014. They got their own president got couped. The Ukrainian president got couped. So Donetsk and Luhansk didn't want to be part of Ukraine anymore. So they actually voted outside of Ukraine, but they were met with military angst from the Ukrainians, and so they were asking for help. So the only reason, the only actual concession there was that Donetsk and Luhansk was going to become independent, not that Russia was going to take over Ukraine. You forget the actual Minsk II agreements. See, I'm not a liar like
did
you that
invade,
just
though,
showed
right?
up in the. I'm not
They
like
did.
you
They
that
did
just
invade,
woke up
though,
in
right?
October. I'm not a piece of shit like you that
Manar,
woke
they
up in
did
October
invade, though,
7th.
right?
I woke up in October
Did they
7 and
invade?
realized, oh my God, look, there's a war today. I'm
Did they
not like you.
invade?
Oh, January 6th today, there's
What
an
I did.
insurrection, but there's no actual
Manar,
proof of any insurrection anywhere.
Manar,
I'm not
Manar.
like you where I
Did
wake up
they
and I just
invade?
make up conspiracy theories.
I'm
I
sorry,
look at the
Manar.
context of the history.
Manar, did they invade?
I'm not a conspiracy theorist like
Did
you.
they invade?
You're a conspiracy theorist.
Did they invade?
Did they not actually have peace agreements for over 8 years? Yes or no? Yes or no? Can you answer
well,
that?
no,
Yes or
Minsk.
no?
I'm pretty sure
Did
Minsk 2
did
never
Russia
even
and
went into
Ukraine
effect.
have peace
But
agreements for 8 years? Yes
I'm
or no?
pretty sure Minsk 2 never even went into effect. I'm pretty sure Minsk
You're not
2
going to answer
never
my
even
questions.
went
I
into
can't
effect.
answer yours. I'm not going to answer yours. I'm going to answer. I'm going to ask you again. Did Russia and Ukraine have peace agreements for and talks for at least 8 years before the invasion happened, and it didn't happen until the actual talks failed completely? Yes or no? Did I say
Yes.
anything wrong there?
Yes, okay.
Okay.
But did they invade?
Okay. So did they invade only after the peace talks failed?
The answer is
And
yes.
they only did that.
So the
to
answer
force
is yes, they
to-
did invade. Do you support that
Right?
invasion? It's super simple. They did invade. You agree that they invaded. Do you support that invasion?
Yeah, but I'm not. I don't support
okay,
it just
cool.
because they're murdering Ukrainians. That's not what I said. They're supporting it for. I'm supporting it because that's, for example, the failure of this was the actual American foreign diplomacy, which was the same exact foreign diplomacy in Syria, which was to create chaos and corruption in the land and around it. And for example, use Istanbul and Turkey to destroy Syria from the north. Same thing they're doing here. They're using Ukraine to destroy Russia from the south. I'm not gonna. I have to see a seed. I have
Sorry
to see
for,
if the peace agreements are not going to be accepted and Donetsk is going to just keep getting bombed. I accept that Russia has to go defend it. Yes.
Sorry for
Not
derailing.
invasion. I don't
Someone
agree
was
with the
betting in the
invasion,
chat,
though.
so I had to get that yes out of him.
Yeah, but I don't support like invading and killing. I don't think Russia just
You
wants
just
to
said
take
you
over
did,
Ukraine.
so,
I
don't
think
know what to tell you.
Russia was going to de-weaponize Ukraine and just give it back to Ukraine, but they're not going to just take over.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure.
Denazify Ukraine. Actually, that was the first. Do you disagree with me? That was the actual first objective. Of the mission.
I needed to get one of my lovely chatters $20. I'm sorry. You can
No worries,
go
man.
on. You can go on with whatever you guys were talking about.
No worries, man. Whatever you want, man. I don't know.
Unless IDK wants to talk for a little bit.
I know, but you're assuming that I just support the genocide of Ukrainians or something. That's not what I do. I don't want.
I just
anybody to
asked if you
invade.
supported the invasion. That's all I asked.
I don't want nobody to invade anyone. I think Ukraine is a horrible war, but
You literally just said yes, so I don't
But
know what you want me to tell you.
But no, yeah, but this was Russia's concession. Like you couldn't concede on that, and no one accepted any of their concessions before. They said they were not going to invade. We're not going to take any of this. Until now, actually, Putin says we, for example, retreated from Kharkov to show that we were militarily defeated, to try to reignite the peace talks. Like Putin is saying the reason we're actually retreating from certain places, we look like we're just getting destroyed, but all we want is to reignite the peace talk. We want Ukraine to think it's strong. So how can somebody that's retreating and is consistently not using all the weaponry and is not using, for example, complete air dominance and just bombing indiscriminately inside the population, how can we say that that's a person that's invading in any way, like Obama, for example, invading Syria and emptying our bomb arsenal in Syria? How can we say that they're comparable in any way?
IDK, do you wanna talk?
I don't know a lot about you.
No, you don't
Ukraine.
have to talk
I was-
about Russia, Ukraine. You could talk whatever you came up
All
to
right,
talk
listen.
about.
There was an insurrection. All right, not on January 6th. All right, there was an insurrection similar. All right, so I'm gonna read you a transcript about the insurrection, and then you tell me if it was an insurrection. All right. In November 8th to 9th of 1923, the Republican Party and Republican leaders in Washington D.C. on the November 8th of 1923. During this period, during the period of the Roaring Twenties, approximately 2,000 people marched on the Capitol, but were confronted by a police department, which resulted in the deaths of 14 people, 4 officers, and 1 bystander. The leader of the protest escaped immediate arrest and was spirited off to safety in the countryside. After 2 days, he was arrested and charged with insurrection. Okay, so just based off this reading, was that an insurrection?
Are you asking me or Manar?
No, Manar. Based off that reading alone, is that an insurrection?
No.
Okay, so that actually wasn't a article about an insurrection in the United States. That was actually an article about the beer hall putsch in Germany in the 1920s. I just doctored a little bit. I changed a little bit up, okay? Instead of Nazis, I put the Republican Party and all that. But yeah, I just wanted to. That's what I came in here
So that
for.
means that was an
Thank you,
insurrection.
IDK. I love you.
So that means that was an insurrection. That's all you
Beer
got.
hall push? Yeah, probably.
So what happened? The beer what?
Do you know about the beer hall push?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the beer hall putsch actually wasn't Republicans. Okay, I was.
The beer hall push
I was
was
a
the
l-
insurrection that Hitler tried to do
Yeah.
on the German government and then got arrested for.
Weimar Republic. Oh.
So yeah, so this is similar. So that's exactly what happened in January 6th, correct, guys? So this is equivalent.
Exactly.
No,
Yes,
that's
that's
not what I'm
exactly the
saying. I
point.
was just asking you, based
You're
off this
not
reading,
making
do
a
you
point
believe that
for
was an
it.
insurrection? And you said no. That's all I was reading. That's all I was saying.
Yeah,
That's
but
nothing's an insurrection.
you were trying to compare. But basically, that's your definition of what an insurrection is, and I'm trying to compare it to what was
don't
happening
get
on
it.
January
Didn't
6th.
we already give a
That's okay,
definition of
he didn't get it.
insurrection? Like, Ringold, I'm pretty sure gave one.
Yeah, I did. Well, it's funny because I gave the exact one used in the Colorado Supreme Court ruling, but
Yeah, which actually say it again so we can actually laugh at it again one more time. So no wonder the Supreme Court ruled that Colorado is actually unconstitutional because they're
they
just
didn't
fucking
rule.
a bunch.
did the U.S. Supreme Court rule that Donald Trump didn't engage in insurrection?
No, but the Supreme Court
Huh,
ruled that the
interesting.
No?
Colorado Supreme Court of removing Trump from the ballot was
Interesting.
unconstitutional.
Wow.
The definition is a public use of force or threat of force by a group of people to hinder or prevent execution of the Constitution.
Yeah, so Nonfon, when a bunch of angry pregnant women stand in front of a Planned Parenthood trying to say, we want more abortions, we don't want to stop these abortions, that's basically insurrection.
That wouldn't be preventing the execution of the Constitution.
Yeah. If they're just standing
Well,
in
yeah,
front of
if
Planned
they're
Parenthood,
not
it wouldn't
allowing
be.
if they're not allowing women to go into the Planned Parenthood, for example.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
in
that's also
protest.
not preventing the
don't think-
execution of the Constitution.
Yeah.
Oh, so let me. What happened January 6th that prevented the execution of whatever?
They were trying to
They
disrupt the
delayed the
transition of power.
certification
Delayed
of
the
the vote.
They
certification
were
of the
trying to
vote.
disrupt the certification of the vote as laid out in Article 2.
Nonfon, you guys are such losers. Not only are you trying to say they tried to stop the transition of power using the John Eastman. Now I know why the John Eastman emails matter so
John
much to
Eastman.
you guys. That's why, because
You
you're
haven't even
actually
read
trying
it.
to prove. You're trying to make a link between John Eastman and trying to stop the ECA Act or using using the ECA, breaking the ECA, whatever you guys trying to link it with also. They weren't able to create the ECA break it, so they went and toppled the government and created an insurrection. You guys are fucking conspiracy
I just don't
theorists.
think you
The Supreme
understand
Court.
anything.
The Supreme Court ruled that any rule, basically what I just heard from the Supreme Court saying, the U.S. Supreme Court says is
Did you
what
read
I
the
just
decision?
heard by them unanimously agreeing that the Colorado Supreme Court was wrong and was unconstitutional is that I should never ever trust the Colorado Supreme Court ever again. That's what I.
yeah, true.
What else did you guys hear? What else did you
Never.
guys hear? I'm interested.
Never trust the
I wanna
Colorado
know
Supreme
what
Court
you guys
ever
hear. So you
again.
guys are gonna actually believe in new rulings that come from the Constitution, the Colorado Supreme Court, and you're not gonna actually try to defeat it in the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme
Well,
Court.
to be clear, I'm pretty sure that if there was a bad ruling once, that doesn't give you grounds to disregard
So
every
what the-
ruling from that
well-
court that they ever make in the future.
Well,
I'm pretty,
yeah, so I'm
I need to
No,
see the
no,
part in the
no,
Constitution that allows you to do that.
So knowing now the Colorado Supreme Court created such a miserable ruling and unconstitutionally
What was
actually,
wrong?
and that.
Hey, What was wrong with the ruling?
It was completely unconstitutional. They
How? On
were
what
trying
grounds?
to politically oppress Trump
On
from
what
being on the
grounds?
ballot.
On what grounds is it unconstitutional?
On the grounds that they appealed to, which is the Amendment 14. That's what the court appealed to. That's none
What
of my
part?
business.
What
This
part?
is against
What part in
the
the
Constitution.
what part in the 14th Amendment did they violate?
I don't know. I'm gonna go open your Wikipedia, which is exactly what you fucking did. Look, this is the problem with you guys. Is you guys literally open Wikipedia, read,
You're assuming
and
that
then
it's a
you
dog.
think
No,
you're
the point that I'm
smart,
making. The point that I'm
and
making
then
is
you
that
think you're
you-
fucking smart, and
you
all
said
of
it
this
was
is
a
one
bad
of
ruling, but you don't
guys
even
are
know the
still
grounds on which it was
You're
ruled.
disingenuous.
You're
Nonfon,
insane.
you're still
You're insane.
Nonfon. You actually believe
Why are you
John
talking to
Eastman
Nonfon?
colluded with, or tried to collude with actually Mike Pence to try to end,
Yes, he
stop
did.
the actual
They
confirmation.
had meetings. Johnny's been told by
And-
Pence
John-
on
and
John
then
meetings.
Eastman
only
did-
that-
The
and
Fourth
John
then
Eastman
you
didn't
Amendment
even
do not
deny
stand by
that.
the vote.
And then you conspiratorize. No, you guys are conspiracy theorists.
John
Then
Eastman
you
I'm not
didn't even
conspiratorize
theorizing.
together.
We have
Then you
testimony from them.
conspiratorize together. Then you conspiratorize together that actually the January 6th
had meetings.
protesters
There was a
were
meeting.
all
I believe-
planned by Trump. You guys are conspiracy
I mean, I
theorists.
think you're addressing
just
me because
inventing
you
shit.
know that Renewal
Yeah,
knows
not
more
fun.
about January
Not fun.
6th than
He's
me, but
basically
he
you.
can
He's
correct me if I'm
basically
wrong.
you. He
There were
uses you.
meetings
He uses your
between
same
Pence
research.
and Eastman on both
You
the
are the
fourth
creator
sure.
of this,
right?
Nonfon.
Yes, there sure were, and we have video of John Eastman describing those meetings. So I mean, I don't know why the fuck. I don't know why the fuck we're pretending that Mike Pence
Video of
didn't
Mike
have
Pence saying that
coordination
they weren't
with
trying to break the law. I
John
have video
Eastman.
of that.
Huh?
I have an interview of Pence saying no, they weren't trying to break the law.
Okay, can
What
you show
about
me
that?
it?
But you guys don't give a fuck about that. And I was actually
Can you show
discussing
me
with
it?
that with Nonfon earlier, but you guys don't care
Can
about
you
that.
show
You guys
me it?
only have your
Can you
own
show me it?
emails
Can you link it?
and your fake electoral bullshit.
Can you link
Yeah,
it?
I'll love it. You
I'd
guys
love-
are
I'd
Wait,
love to see
also
that.
one quick thing. One quick thing. You mentioned the
conspiracy theory. You're
one quick thing.
conspiracy
You said that
theorist.
Enrique Tarrio did nothing
You
wrong.
believe-
Here's the 1776 returns document that he sent like and circulated through the Proud Boys group chats and like Telegram and all their other group chats. That was obtained by like I'm assuming the FBI or whatever other agency that was monitoring this when it was happening. It's in general. But they were planning to go
Mike,
to
oh,
other
look at
government
this.
buildings.
Mike Pence says that he doesn't believe, he's not convinced Trump's January 6 actions were criminal. You guys are losers. So Mike Pence himself is saying, no, there is no actual crime, but you
Where?
guys are
Wait, link
conspiracy
it, link
theorists.
it, link it.
Okay, I'll link it. Calm down. Yeah, you guys are such conspiracy fucking theorists. You guys are such conspiracy theorists. You guys actually sit there and create conspiratorize with one another on this bullshit. You guys are fucking conspiracy theorists. Show me again where, besides John Eastman's collusion with his collusion, according to you guys, to conspire.
Tell me where the evidence
Show me where it was that the actual January 6 protesters gathered together and colluded to take over the government. You're such bullshit.
Read the Proud Boys indictment.
Just
Read the Enrique Tarrio indictment. They were literally circulating. They were literally circulating. They were literally.
Not every single.
No, shut up! 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 Stop! 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 Okay, I'm just gonna mute you. Okay, just to be clear, I already referenced you a clip or an indictment where Enrique Tarrio was convicted for spreading around a memo entitled 1776 Return, in which he outlined the Proud Boys occupying the Capitol in order to prevent the peaceful transfer of power. So when you say, oh, where's the coordination between all of the J6 rioters? It's right there. And we have a very similar indictment from the leader of the Oath Keepers, Stuart Rhodes. Why are you still talking? You're muted.
Disgusting.
If it outlines
You and
overthrowing the U.S.
Nonfon are
government,
the
yes.
filth of
What?
Civilization. You and Nonfon are the filth of civilization, and I can't wait for you guys to share each other's girlfriends. It's gonna be hilarious.
Share each other's
no.
what?
I would share a
Nonfon, you guys
PDF
are
around.
filthy. You guys are filthy. You guys are
Wait.
still using the same
If I
debate.
were to share a PDF round outlining my overthrow of the U.S. government, should I not be arrested for it?
Maybe the age of consent should be an arbitrary number that's created by states. Let's say maybe like New Hampshire, that does 14.
Yeah, I don't know.
New Hampshire allows 13 and 14-year-olds to get
Yikes.
emancipated, and 13 and 14-year-olds have no minimum age of marriage.
Emancipation
in
is
New
different
Hampshire.
than
Oh,
having sex.
no.
What?
Why can't we make the age of consent that, huh? You
Oh, boy.
disgusting buffoon. You're trying to argue against me. Your own states are
Wait, what is
disgusting in
emancipation?
their own
What is
fucking age
emancipation?
of consent. By the way, I'll prove to you that 2 8-year-olds can consent to having sex with one another. If one of
No,
them
no,
actually
no, 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 no. We can't do that. Your server muted. We can't do that. We're not doing that here. We're not justifying 8-year-olds giving consent. We're just not doing that. I'm so sorry. We're not gonna do that. If you wanna promise, I'll unserver mute you in a second. If you wanna promise that you will not talk about 8-year-olds giving consent to sex, then we can continue this conversation. But no talk of like pedophilia that would get my my live taken down, please.
What else does it mean when 2 8-year-olds can consent?
I need you again to promise this is just not a topic that we're talking about. It's just not. This is not something that we are going to, debate over or negotiate with. We're just not talking about this topic. Okay?
No, why are you scared to debate this topic? If 2 8-year-olds have sex with one another and
Dude, okay. One more time and then you're going to get kicked. I'm so sorry. Please do not talk about this topic. We can talk about anything else. I just do not want to talk about pedophilia. I'm not going down that road.
I don't give a fuck if you kick me. Listen to me. If 2 13-year-olds have sexual relationships with one another, but one.
Okay.
Dude, this isn't
Damn.
even a law. I don't know why he's saying that.
I'm not doing that. Like, I'm sorry. This is not what I came to talk about. What I wanted to point out earlier is I thought it was really funny that I brought up the war on Panama, and he was like pearl clutching about different wars, and then he said, "Oh, fuck Panama. Who cares about Panama?" I was like, okay.
Yeah, Manar is interesting. This is kind of what Manar does.
Dude,
Almost every conversation I've had with him eventually turns to the age of consent, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to have this.
why, dog? That's so weird.
I don't know, man.
Dude, okay. I moved my PC today, and I wasn't sure if the internet connection would be stable, so I was just gonna come on and read the recent ruling on Trump. I didn't know it was gonna be all this bullshit.
Yeah, have you never talked to Manar before?
No, but he was acting
Never.
sussy-wussy in chat,
You've
so it
never.
scared me.
No, yeah, he'll just go. The first time I talked to him, he just like puts in my chat spamming for me to talk to him, and I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, that's what he did. Yeah, it was weird.
That's what Zen
just-
does too.
Bro, he
Sometimes.
came back.
I mean, not on Twitch anymore.
So he's in a waiting room.
He had to rejoin the server. I'm not bringing him up. I'm sorry. We're just not having that conversation. He can stay in the server, I guess, if he wants to. There's a reason I didn't ban him, but I have no interest. That means in America has no minimum age.
Dude, I mean, it outlines so explicitly in the 1776 return. It says contents: storm the Winter Palace. What do you think the Winter Palace is?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This is
When you said that,
MAGA's,
when you brought that up, I was rejoicing. I was
Mag-
literally rejoicing.
Yeah, MAGA's strongest soldiers have to devolve everything into a debate about age of consent.
In fairness to Manar, I'm not actually sure he's capable of reading. I don't think he's ever actually read a full. I don't know if he's ever read a full book. Certainly, he's not read anything I've ever like linked him before.
I can't. He cited me. I asked him for evidence of 200 FBI agents being on the ground. He cited me an interview on Newsmax with a senator, and then an article referencing the interview on Newsmax with that senator. I don't know.
Wait, Nonfon, I tried to do that with Zen too. I sent him a list, right? I was like, listen, if you actually want to get involved in political theory, right? Here's a list of books that you can read that I recommend. And then he was like, why would I have to read books? And I'm like, okay.
For real.
Okay.
Why would I ever want to read, bro? It's just lame. It's just stupid.
Well, I'm glad that I finally got to meet you guys. Nonfon, I've seen you circling around my YouTube feed for a little bit. So it's nice to meet you.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah. Nice to meet you, dude. Yep.
IDK, I appreciate
Manar.
you stopping by. I don't know if you make content,
Yeah.
but
Nah,
I'm
I'm
glad
a
you're
I'm
here.
a lurker in Nonfon and bosses. Well, not anymore bosses, but Nonfon's chat
Wow.
sometimes.
Dub.
Boss has been taken, but yeah.
What a night. I
At least
like,
you're
I
gonna
don't
get a
even know what to
video
say
out of
about
it.
that.
I mean,
Sorry.